personality, the cult of personality, the cult of personality.
Good Thursday afternoon. Welcome to the Voice of Woca. I'm Tom Schmitz. Buddy Martin not here with us today as he is attending the funeral of Rob Baronis, ex-Titans kicker and son-in-law to Terry Bradshaw. You'll hear more about Rob Baronis today on Southern Pigskin tonight. We'll play that. That'll come your way at 5 o'clock. Also today on the show, we will replay in the 4 o'clock hour the restaurant show from Tuesday, where we had the chefs from La Cuisine, a beautiful French bistro in historic downtown Ocala, and the chef from Eaton's Beach Sandbar and Grill. They were all on here. Patrice and Elodie Perron and Dave Del Rio. Dave Del Rio at Eaton's Beach, Patrice and Elodie at La Cuisine. We'll replay that entire program at 4 o'clock. Also at 5 o'clock, it will be Southern Pigskin tonight. We'll be talking Florida football, Florida State football, SEC football, and ACC football. And we'll bring you up to date on what we know about the Rob Baronis incident. We talked with the mayor yesterday on Coffee with the Mayor about a prayer vigil that was going to take place downtown. The vigil was caused to address drive-by shootings that have been plaguing the communities in the past weeks. Several people have been shot, including two small children. I believe it was a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old. That's prompted community leaders, police department, politicians, religious leaders, and others to join forces in the community to try to draw attention to this problem. Whenever a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old gets shot in their beds in a drive-by shooting, that's an issue. Well, an atheist group took a little umbrage with the chief of police being one of the people leading the call for this vigil. Separation of church and state being what it is. The group felt like that an elected official should not be leading the charge for a prayer vigil. A 4-year-old and an 8-year-old were hospitalized from gunshot wounds. And you're going to tell me you're concerned that the chief of police is leading a group of community leaders in a prayer vigil to try to draw attention to this so that maybe this flushes out who it is that does it? So let me get this straight. You would rather not have the chief of police lead a prayer vigil because you want separation of church and state. You don't want the Christian God or the Jewish God or the Muslim Muhammad. You don't want any of the Muslim God. You don't Allah. You don't want any of that to supersede your right for separation of church and state. Yet this vigil may have brought out people who, because of this vigil, will now go to the police and tell the police what they know about these drive-by shootings and maybe put behind bars somebody that shot a 4-year-old and 8-year-old. I don't understand this. You as a group, and I'm talking about the atheist group, let me get their names for you. I'll get their names for you here in a minute. The group that was opposing this. It's FF. Where's it at? It's here. I'm reading this article from the Ocala Star Banner. Freedom from Religion Foundation. That's the group that opposed this vigil last night. It's based in Madison, Wisconsin, has more than 21,000 members, and it has a chapter in Florida. So you got 21,000 members. Good for you. There's 25 million people in the country. So you're less than a tenth of 1%. Good. No, you're less than a hundredth of 1%. Good for you. Good for you. And I'm not saying that anybody should force their religion on them. If truth be told, I'm Catholic. I don't stop people on the street and say, hey, you need to come with me to mass. Not something I do. But you're up in arms with the chief of police and the mayor because they back a prayer vigil that bring people together and draw attention to children being needlessly shot in a drive-by shooting. And you got a problem with that? You got a problem with a activity that brings people together and draws awareness to a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old getting shot? You're so concerned that somebody may say the word God while they work for the city or something that you would rather that not happen than a group of people gathering to draw attention to a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old getting shot? And people wonder why I call people on the fringe whack jobs. You know why I call people on the fringe whack jobs? Because they're whack jobs. You got to be kidding me. You're upset that the chief of police was behind a prayer vigil that was trying to get people together to draw attention to a drive-by shooting, one of many that have happened in our community. And it so incenses you that the chief of police is part of this that you'd rather not have the vigil and not draw awareness to a drive-by shooting where a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old went to the hospital? Come on. Can we exercise a little common sense here and say, who the hell cares what the chief of police does as long as it draws attention to this and somebody is put on the carpet and answers to shooting a 4-year-old and 8-year-old? I know you're saying, oh, Tom, you can't say that because you see all these videos where the cops just are out of their minds. Yeah, they're bad cops, without a doubt. We saw one in South Carolina this weekend shoot a man during a seatbelt violation stop. He's now been fired and has been charged with aggravated assault. Swiftly. The Highway Patrol in South Carolina reviewed the dash cam tape and arrested the cop. Good for them. But you can't say that the chief of police and the sheriff in this county, Chris Blair, shouldn't use whatever means lawfully necessary and within the law to find whoever it is responsible for doing drive-by shootings that put a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old in the hospital. You're going to try to stop something that may solve that? Stop it. When we come back, a national figure has decided to resign, and the hostage executioner, the FBI thinks they've identified the ISIS hostage executioner. We'll tell you about both of those. And later in the show, 4 o'clock, we'll replay the restaurant and food show with Elodie and Patrice Perron from La Cuisine and Chef Dave Del Rio from Eaton's Beach Sandbar and Grill. We'll replay that in its entirety at 4 o'clock. At the Southern Pigskin tonight at 5 o'clock, right here on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. We're live and local on The Source. Regions Bank has big bank ability but possesses small bank agility. Utilizing tools like Raymond Andrews and his team of 6 mortgage experts with 100 years of experience in the mortgage industry and 50 years experience as members of the Regions Bank team. Mortgage lending is personal and important, and you deserve someone that will lead you through a positive process. Raymond and his team use local mortgaging processes like local appraisers and local closing to help you have a positive experience, and they habla Espanol as well. So whether you need a conventional, FHA, USDA, or VA loan, or you even need a construction loan, the mortgage team of your local Regions Bank has the knowledge and experience to guide you through the process. So contact Raymond Andrews and his team of mortgage experts at 352-854-4104. That's 352-854-4104. Regions Bank, it's time to expect more.
Culligan man is not easy because he works hard every day for you here in North Central Florida. Whether you need bottled water delivery for your office, a home water softener, or water infiltration system, the Culligan man can help you. At Culligan, North Florida, we have dozens of softener and filtration options, along with a host of media tank sizes. Depending on the exact hardness and usage of your water, we determine the size of softener you're going to need. And if you're on city or well water in one of our local areas, the in-home water analysis is absolutely free. If your needs are for the home, call Ocala Water Conditioning, 352-291-5900. For home or business bottled water in Ocala, call Ocala Bottled Water, 352-291-5900. Culligan of North Florida, a proud sponsor of Florida State football, heard right here on WOCA, The Source.
Imagine yourself in a quaint bistro right in the heart of a charming French village about to indulge in real French cuisine. Located in beautiful, vibrant downtown Ocala, La Cuisine offers authentic French cuisine and wine from an award-winning menu. Patrice and Elodie moved to Ocala in 2009 because they fell in love with it. And you're going to fall in love with La Cuisine if you haven't already. La Cuisine offers a quick bite for lunch or a leisurely dinner in a comfortable and relaxed setting. So call La Cuisine of Ocala today at 352-433-2570. It's like a direct call to Paris.
Sign up for this year's Marion County Heart Walk and be part of a local movement that's helping others live longer, healthier lives. Join me, Corey Poole, your 2014 Marion County Heart Walk Chairman, and walk with me on Saturday, October the 4th at the Baseline Road Trailhead. It's a free event promoting physical activity and heart-healthy living. To find out how you can help fight the #1 killer of all Americans, visit us online at marionheartwalk.org.
Are you tired of not using your home's outdoor space for entertaining or relaxation because of all the bugs and leaves? Consider adding a beautiful screen room or glass enclosure. We are Superior Aluminum and Design, a family-owned and operated business with 20 years experience in the aluminum industry, and we are accredited by the Better Business Bureau. If you appreciate superior workmanship, call Superior Aluminum and Design at 817-8058 or visit us on the web at superiораluminumdesign.com.
Veterans are the foundation upon which our freedom is built. Listen to The Source, WOCA, each Thursday at 9 a.m. to Veterans News with Hank Whittier from Vets Helping Vets. You'll hear tributes, information on veterans issues, and stories that will make you laugh, cry, and feel proud. Veterans News always focuses on the military, past and present, and on our first responders. Veterans News is brought to you each week by Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery, keeping you blooming since 1952.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
The truth is, most people who have had a fling at work say it started with somebody adding kisses, X's and O's, to a message. Just like showers for mothers-to-be, man showers include food, gifts, games, with a macho slant. Bullying is usually accompanied by poor performance at school. If the dip is only in one subject, the bully is probably in the same class with your child.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Welcome back to the Voice of Ocala on a Thursday. I'm Tom Schmitz, your host, Buddy Martin, with the Terry Bradshaw family up in Nashville, Tennessee, as they lay to rest their son-in-law, Rob Baronis, tragically killed in a one-car accident. He failed to navigate a curve. There's allegations of road rage. That there was a 911 call made by a lady who says that a vehicle matching the description of Rob Baronis just tried to run her off the road just before they came upon the wreck of his vehicle. Find out more about that as it comes out. ISIS, the man who murdered James Foley, Stephen Sotloff, and David Haynes has been identified by the FBI, according to the FBI. This is according to the AP. Thus far, the executioner has only been known as Jihad John. He was known to intelligence officials as a hostage negotiator for a group of British ISIS fighters in Syria. He was also a guard for the hostages. He originally hails from the UK, likely London. Based on his accent, one of his former hostages said John is intelligent, educated, a devout believer in radical Islamic teachings. While the identity is now known to intelligence officials, it will not be publicly released, presumably as military work to apprehend him. Though the man will not be named, this is a major step in taking down the terrorist network. I don't know if you saw this, but yesterday a copycat video of the ISIS beheadings were released by the terrorist organization Caliphate soldiers based in Syria. They murdered a French mountaineer who was kidnapped in Algeria, though their video was distinctly different from that of ISIS, in which John's featured and gives a final speech in English. These people are whack jobs as well. And last night there was air strikes into Syria that destroyed an oil refinery that ISIS is thought to control, and that they are able to make money with. Estimates say they make between $2 and $6 million a day. $2 to $6 million a day. CBS's 60 Minutes said Sunday that they can make $1 billion a year. You can fund a lot of terrorist activities and a lot of military activities on $1 billion a year. This is a serious threat that the United States doesn't need to toy with. I've said all along, in 1991, when we went to Desert Storm, we did it wrong. In 91, before 20 years ago in this region, 91, 2000, actually 25 years ago now, when this region was first showing to be that they were going to have to be American boots on the ground to free this area when the Americans drove Hussein out of Kuwait. George Bush Sr., George H.W. Bush, Herbert Walker Bush. Or was that Bill Clinton? I think it was Bush. Yeah, Bush. Should have handled it then. This is a group of radical people that are a very, very minute, by the way, a very minute part of the Muslim belief culture. I get so enraged when people say, it's a bunch of Muslims, kill them all. That's just wrong. 99% of all Muslims believe in peaceful discourse, not what you see by the radicals. Radicals can only be dealt with radically. I've talked to a bunch of different people that I know that served in the military, that are serving in the military. I was married to a daughter of a brigadier general in the Army. How you ladies doing? Good to see you. And every one of them to a man says you have to suspend the rules of engagement to deal with this group of people. If you suspend the rules of engagement with this group of people, I've heard estimates from within months to within just a year or so, they could be dealt with and abolished from the, from the field of war. That seems to be the general concern. I mean, when I say I've talked to people in the military, out of the military, I've talked to probably 30 people about this that I know that were enlisted men in the military, still are enlisted men, officers in the military, all the way up to my father-in-law, who's a retired, my ex-father-in-law, who's a retired brigadier general. And they all say the same thing. America plays nice, and the terrorist groups don't. And they say we have to act like Americans. Well, let me remind you of this. The British thought you had to act British. And that's how we were able to get our freedom. You're not going to deal with these people by fighting the way that dictates the most humane way to do things. Not going to happen. The people you're dealing with are killing their own people. They're not just killing Christians now. They're going and saying, you're a Muslim, but you need to be the Muslim the way we want you to be a Muslim. You have to adhere to the rules we think. We're going to give you a couple days to convert. If you don't convert, we're going to take you out and kill you. You don't negotiate with that kind of maniac. You eradicate that kind of maniac. These are people that think nothing of killing women and children and men. They don't care whether you're Christian. They don't care whether you're Islamic. They don't care whether you're Jewish. All they care is if you disagree with them, they will kill you. You don't deal with these people nicely. You deal with them the way they deal with you. You kill them. There's no other way to deal with it. What are you saying, Tom? Civilians should get hurt? That's part of it. Sherman said it best. War's hell. Sometimes civilians get hurt. That's the reality of war. I'd damn sure rather have civilians in Syria get hurt than another 3,000 Americans get killed. I'd much rather have 80 or 90 people in a village that got trapped with ISIS all around them and you had to eradicate them. I'd rather that happen than 6,000 or 8,000 Americans get killed because somebody bombs a bathroom at Disney World. You're right. I'd much rather that happen. I'd feel bad. Hope God had mercy on the civilians that lost their lives. But I'd rather that happen than, a terrorist group decide that the Florida-Georgia game where there's 100,000 people would be a good time to blow up the Jacksonville Municipal Stadium. I'd much rather have 60 civilians dead in Syria than I'd have that happen. That's how you have to deal with these animals. You have to deal with these animals like they are animals. So we've identified now, the FBI has identified Jihad John, who was the executioner. Remember, they beheaded 3 people with a butcher knife. You think that's the rules of engagement? I don't know what rules of engagement you're playing by, but that ain't the rules they're playing by. Moral of the story, Eric Holder steps down. Boy, in my estimation, that's about 6 years too late. Eric Holder has announced his resignation. There are people on the short list to replace him. I'll tell you who those are coming up after the break. But Eric Holder, the nation's first black attorney general, will announce his resignation Thursday, according to a story about the AP, ending a turbulent 6-year tenure in which his office addressed major issues from banking scandals and terrorism to civil rights cases. Sources familiar with the decision say Mr. Holder intends to leave the department as soon as his successor is confirmed, but that process could take up till next year. But we see some light at the end of the tunnel, folks. Eric Holder has quit. That's a good sign. Coming up next, I'll tell you who's on the short list to replace him. Plus, the Marion County Sheriff's Department. They're in a little hot water. They're facing a lawsuit. I'll tell you about that. Coming up next, right here on the Voice of Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. We're live and local on The Source.
Hey, Eddie, I'm playing Augusta in a few hours, and I need a fourth. Want to join us?
Georgia's close, but it's not that close, Alex.
Not Georgia, Golden Ocala. I'm a member at Golden Ocala, and this course has 8 tribute holes, like number 12 and 13. You know, part of Amen Corner, and the postage stamp, and the road hole. It's a phenomenal track. My family and I always have a great time at the pool and at the restaurants. They've got 3, you know. The kids love the tennis programs. My wife practically lives at the spa, and I've been bulking up with a personal trainer in their fitness center. Joining Golden Ocala was one of the best decisions I've ever made, aside from marrying my wife, of course. So you want to join us in a few hours?
Absolutely. I can't wait to play the first hole in golf and the road hole too. Hey, how do I become a member at Golden Ocala?
Eddie, just call 352-402-4343.
Luxury and great golf is affordable at Golden Ocala. Call 352-402-4343 to join.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life, from everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on The Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz.
Hi, I'm State Farm agent Angie Lewis. Come see me and my team for all your insurance and financial needs in the beautiful downtown historic district, 416 East Fort King Street, or call 291-2444.
Fox News Radio, I'm Karen McHugh. The Obama administration will not confirm reports from Iraq's prime minister regarding a plot to attack subway systems in Paris and the U.S., a plot the prime minister deemed imminent. President Obama is about to lose his often controversial attorney general.
Eric Holder has often weathered attacks from Republicans critical of President Obama. The investigation of the Fast and Furious gun running program led the House to find Holder in criminal contempt of Congress. A Justice Department official says Holder and the president made plans for his departure over the Labor Day weekend.
Fox News Radio's Steve Taylor. Holder's been a part of the administration since the beginning. The third American aid worker who contracted Ebola in Africa and was sent here for treatment is heading home from a Nebraska hospital.
CDC has declared me safe and free of virus. Thank God, I love you all.
Dr. Rick Sacre of Worcester, Massachusetts. He was sickened in Liberia. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Your garage is filled with awesome things, like your collection of unused sporting goods and an odd assortment of scrap lumber. Dump it all. You'll need the room, because Napa has Mobile One synthetic oil for $5.99 a quart. Yep, for $5.99 a quart, you can fill your garage with Mobile One. Now that's a good use of space. Conquer the job with Napa know-how. General states pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 9/30/14.
What's the secret to great business trips? Choice Hotels, where you'll find everything a business traveler needs, like a generous rewards program. And right now, when you take 2 separate trips at Comfort Inn or any Choice Hotel, you can earn 1 night free. Stay for business at Choice Hotels and book now at choicehotels.com. Great endings begin here. Free night based on an 8,000-point Choice Privileges reward night at over 1,500 hotels. Valid 9/4/14 through 11/12/14. Requires registration and 2 separate qualifying stays. Other terms and conditions apply. Details at choicehotels.com.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Fredericks Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Fredericks Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Fredericks Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance.
Are you a mom looking for inspiration? Are you creative? Mamazine.com is a lifestyle blog designed for the local mom to be inspired by the beauty of motherhood while staying current on local events and issues. Visit Mamazine.com today to find events around town, recipes, imaginative play ideas, and more. Mamazine.com.
the next AM Ocala Live, Robin and I will be speaking to Jim George, owner of American Cable Services. He'll be telling us what's new in the world of TV and cable.
News Bites, the hottest news and current events served bite-sized.
And then it's Horse Sense with the Equine Alliance of Marion County talking to us about those beautiful horses in our community.
Join Kelly Fuqua-Hart, executive editor of Ocala Magazine, on her show, Ocala Magazine Radio.
And then David P. Muff is coming on. He's the director of the Mississippi River Delta Restoration Campaign. He's speaking about a book called Perspectives on the Restoration of the Mississippi Delta.
Dr. Robert Oken is a practicing psychiatrist. He's a member of the Board of Advisors of Disabilities Rights International. He's written a book called Silent Voices, People with Mental Disorders on the Street.
All of that plus fun with Joe on the next AM Ocala Live, right here on The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM.
1370 AM.
Welcome back to the Voice of Ocala on a Thursday afternoon. I'm Tom Schmitz, Buddy Martin, in Nashville, Tennessee, attending the services of Rob Barones, who will be laid to rest tomorrow. Rob Barones, former Tennessee Titans kicker and son-in-law to Hall of Fame great Terry Bradshaw, died in a one-car accident Saturday evening and will be laid to rest Thursday night. You can hear more about the Rob Barones accident on Southern Pigskin tonight at 5 o'clock right here on WOCA. Also in the 4 o'clock hour, we will be replaying the restaurant and food show. It was Thursday with Elodie and Patrice Perron of La Cuisine and Chef Dave Del Rio of Eaton's Beach Sandbar and Grill. Will be replaying that entire restaurant and food show for your pleasure in the 4 o'clock hour. Except before we went to break, that Eric Holder is stepping down as White House Attorney General, United States Attorney General. The White House has potential candidates already, according to Reuters. The replacement candidates are Donald Verrilli Jr., the current U.S. Solicitor General, Carmela Harris, California's Attorney General, and Sheldon Whitehouse, a two-term Democratic senator from Rhode Island. White House officials have known about Holder's plans to step down for months, but the decision wasn't finalized until Holder and President Obama discussed it in a one-on-one conversation over Labor Day weekend. As recently as August, President Obama was still trying to persuade Holder to stay, according to a source familiar with the conversation. While vacationing around the same time on Martha's Vineyard, President Obama gently pressured Holder to rethink his plans to retire, even talking about nostalgia about the heady days of the 2008 campaign when the two men cemented their personal friendship. President Obama knows that getting a new attorney general confirmed by the Senate, which could possibly be controlled by Republicans, will be challenging, particularly deep into a second term of his presidency. White House officials have been quietly vetting potential candidates for months, according to knowledgeable sources. One source identified Verrilli as the leading candidate right now. He gained national attention when he defended the legal challenge of the Affordable Care Act before the U.S. Supreme Court in 2012. It was widely panned as a wobbly performance, but he prevailed in the end. Carmela Harris, the Attorney General of California and a rising star in Democratic politics, is also considered a serious contender should she be interested in the job. Harris, a former district attorney in San Francisco, may have other political aspirations, such as running for U.S. Senator or eventually Governor of California. Senator Whitehouse has some clear advantages going in a race to succeed Holder. Whitehouse, who was close to Holder, served as U.S. Attorney to Rhode Island in the mid-'90s, has been an appointed administration ally on the Senate Judiciary and Intelligence Committee. So this is not catching the Obama administration off guard. They knew this was coming for months and have already been vetting and planning the people they were going to put up for a replacement for Eric Holder. But Eric Holder's time as Attorney General is coming to an end. As soon as a replacement can be found, he will be stepping down as Attorney General. I know this is not the sports hour, but this is a story that is a little bigger than sports. I don't know if you heard this yesterday, but a New York State grand jury decided that they would not turn a bill of indictment against Tony Stewart for the death of Kevin Ward Jr. The Ontario County, New York grand jury said there just wasn't enough evidence to see any criminal wrongdoing. So we all know Ward was struck and killed by Stewart after two cars were racing together in a sprint car race at a motorsports park in New York. After Ward's car hit the wall, he exited the car and came down the track to confront Stewart, where he was hit by the right rear tire of Stewart's car. Ontario County District Attorney Michael Tantillo announced the grand jury's decision and said video evidence showed Stewart drove in a straight line. The toxicology reports determined that Ward was under the influence of marijuana at the time, and it was an amount enough to impair his judgment. The marijuana revelations, previously unreported, provided new evidence that transferred focus of the responsibility from Stewart back to Ward. Something Ward's family, surprise, surprise, is not happy with. The Ward family issued a statement. Our son got out of his car during caution when the race was suspended. All the other vehicles were reducing speed and not accelerating except for Stewart, who intentionally tried to intimidate Kevin by accelerating and sliding his car towards him, causing the tragedy. The focus should be on the actions of Mr. Stewart. This matter is not at rest, and we will pursue all remedies in fairness to Kevin. Tantillo said two videos were used in evidence case. While there are no criminal charges in the matter, the Ward family could file a wrongful death lawsuit in civil court. I don't know why they deemed it necessary to say the kid was under the influence of marijuana. Because his THC levels, I mean, your THC levels can be high a day after you've smoked marijuana and you're not under the influence of it, but your THC levels are still very high. I would like to see the toxicology report and how they came by that he was under the influence of marijuana at the time. I've been to sprint car races, not sprint cup. Sprint cup's NASCAR. These are sprint car races. And I don't think I'd want anybody with 600-700 horsepower or motor to be under the influence of marijuana. I'll tell you that. But it's still, everybody says this shifts the focus back to Ward. I think the focus should have always been on Ward. Guess how this tragedy never happens? If Ward doesn't get out of his car. We wouldn't be having this conversation about Tony Stewart. Did he do it or didn't he do it on purpose? Was Kevin Ward Jr. under the influence of marijuana? Was he not under the influence of marijuana? We wouldn't even known that Tony Stewart had bumped the kid and the kid had wrecked into a wall because it was at some little dirt track up in upstate New York. The reason we know all of this is because Kevin Ward Jr. got out of his car and tragically was struck and killed. If he stays in his car, he's still alive and racing today, and none of us know his name. The fact that people have tried to say, Tony Stewart, stay in your car and you're not dead right now. That's easy for you to say, Tom. It is easy for me to say, stay in your car. There are other cars doing high rates of speed. Let me ask you something. When you get in a wreck, even if somebody wrecks into you, like a road rage incident, and puts you into a median in the middle of the interstate, you're going to get out of your car and try to cross the interstate and fight with that person? No, because you get run over on the interstate. This is one of those times where my buddy CJ says that he thinks I'm right, that I'm the common sense guy. Dan, that calls in the show, says I'm not either right wing or left wing. I'm just common sense. This is a common sense issue. You're at a racetrack in a race car. You wreck. There are other race cars going around the track. Don't get out and walk near them. Stay in your car. It's amazing to me. People say, well, you don't understand. What is there not to understand? Stay in your car. Well, Tony. Yes, Tony Stewart's done the exact same thing. He's gotten out and thrown his helmet at people. If Tony got run over, stay in your car. Common sense, people. We'd be a lot better off in life if we all exercised common sense. But we don't do that because common sense is not something common sense would mean you'd have to think about somebody else. And I know I always kid about I only think about me, but not really. I exercise common sense. That's all I'm asking. Use some common sense. People get run. I see pedestrians in Orlando. I've seen pedestrians in Orlando. I've seen pedestrians on 200 get run over because they try to outrun cars in heavy traffic thinking they can make it. Use common sense. Go to the crosswalk and cross a busy street. You don't cross a busy street in the middle of traffic. You don't get out of your race car on a racetrack when other race cars are coming by. Common sense. We all possess it. We should just all use it a little more. The world would be a much better place if more of us exercised a little common sense. Somebody said, well, you don't have to be, the average person has common sense. Common sense is not an intelligence ratio. Common sense is stuff you learn. You common sense. You put your hand on a burner, it burns your hand. Common sense says don't put your hand on a burner. Common sense says you take a pair of scissors and cut your finger with it, you bleed. Common sense says don't take scissors and cut your finger. Common sense says if you're in a race car and you wreck, if you get out of your race car where other race cars are, you'll get run over. Common sense says stay in your race car. Common sense, people. The world would be a much better place if we used it. I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I'll wrap up hour number one, get set up for the restaurant and food show. You're listening to the Voice of Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. We're live and local on The Source.
Nestled in the heart of horse country, just off I-75 exit 354, the award-winning and newly refreshed Howard Johnson Inn of Ocala invites you to pamper yourself in one of our comfy guest rooms. Enjoy our free and fast Wi-Fi, heated outdoor swimming pool, 24-hour fitness center, and our deluxe continental breakfast. Other on-site amenities include a restaurant, putt-putt golf, and a car wash. Go happy, go Hojo at the Howard Johnson Inn of Ocala, proud sponsor of Friday Night High School football on WOCA, The Source.
If you need a sign or a banner for your yard or your business or your campaign, I'd recommend you go to Signs Unlimited at 318 South Magnolia in Ocala. Screen printing, embroidery, digital graphics. Do what I did when we needed signs for the Save the Marion Theater Group. Go see Vic Buttermore at Signs Unlimited if you want quality work with a fast turnaround from somebody who is deeply committed to his community and always ready to assist you. There's a reason Vic's slogan is, it's our business to make your business better. Sign up for Signs Unlimited. Call 732-7341 today.
Here in Florida, when you're looking to go to the beach, you've got hundreds of options. Theme parks, no shortage of options there either. But when it comes to home insurance, most companies have only one option. Allstate is different. Here in Florida, Allstate agents offer home insurance options from several companies, so they can help you get the coverage that's right for you. And they'll help you save on quality car insurance, too. For starters, safe drivers save 45% with Allstate. So before you settle for just one option, talk to someone with many home and car insurance options. Your local Allstate agent. Are you in good hands?
Hi, this is Kevin McDonald, your local Allstate agent. To get your quote, please call us at 622-2333 or stop by one of our 2 Ocala locations.
Allstate has no financial responsibility to you for any home insurance policy you purchase and would not be responsible for any claims. Allstate does not make any representations or accept liability related to operations of home insurance companies, including but not limited to their financial conditions. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Savings vary.
On this episode of What Not to Do, brought to you by
Mike Scott Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it.
Okay, easy. All right, set her down. Over there. Easy.
What are you doing?
Oh, honey, you're home early. Nothing.
Really? Because it looks to me like you've torn up the entire yard with this giant tractor.
Not all of it. There is a small section over there I didn't
That's
get.
not even funny. Why are you tearing up my yard?
Well, the sprinkler head broke.
So you thought it was a good idea to fix it with a huge tractor?
Well, not at first, but then when I tried to fix it, I hit the main line. Thought it would be a good idea
thought
if...
all of this was a good idea? Here's an idea. Why don't you just call Mike Scott Plumbing? It's that easy. In fact, let me help you out with that. 237-2888.
But it's the weekend.
I know. They don't charge extra for nights, weekends, or holidays. Remember the commercials? If water runs through it, they do it. And they're already on their way. So get this monstrosity out of my yard.
On next week's episode of What Not to Do.
A crane? Really?
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need
too.
my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, a new spoiler, and a new
Yep,
trunk.
we can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Now is the time to take advantage of Florida Credit Union's CD specials. Our 36-month CD comes in at 1.26% APY. A 24-month is working for you at 1.0% APY. And our 12-month at 0.75% APY. All CD rate specials require $10,000 minimum. With friendly service and rates like these, it's not hard to see why Florida Credit Union has your CD options covered. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information. Must act by 1/15/14.
Welcome back. Wrapping up hour one of the Voice of Ocala. I'm Tom Schmitz, filling in for Buddy Martin. Buddy is attending the funeral services of Rob Baronis, the son-in-law of Terry Bradshaw. We'll have more on that during Southern Pigskin tonight. You'll hear Southern Pigskin tonight at 5 o'clock right here on WOCA. Southern Pigskin, a syndicated show that is played here in Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. So make sure you check that out. Southern Pigskin tonight, 5 o'clock, right here on the airways of WOCA. Coming up next hour, we're going to replay the restaurant and food show from Tuesday, where we had the chef, Patrice Perron, and his wife, Elodie Perron, the owners of La Cuisine, along with Chef Dave Del Rio of Eaton's Beach Sandbar and Grill. They were on the show. We're going to replay that restaurant and food show in its entirety. But I got to get to this story that's in the Ocala Star banner. A couple months back, some sheriff's deputies were in a video from April 5th that led to JC and Stacy Pomalos being arrested on charge of resisting and obstructing without violence. And it shows that they were at a house party and they were filming it saying, "Why are you arresting people? Why are you here?" And the cops got a little aggravated with them and told them to stop and stop what they were doing and everything. They didn't comply. So the cops got more aggravated and took them into custody. Then one of the police officers put their booking photos on her Facebook page as her profile pic. Well, the state's attorney looked into it and reviewed the case but declined to press charges against the couple saying that a conviction at trial would be minimal. So no charges were filed against the couple. Well, now the couple has filed lawsuits against the sheriff. They filed against the sheriff. Let me tell you exactly who they filed against. In June, plaintiff attorney Christopher Dillingham filed separate complaints on behalf of his clients seeking jury trials. The defendant officers are entitled to, they wanted Thomas Singh Newbanks, Jarrett Liddy, and Corporal Lisa Azur, plus Sheriff Chris Blair. They all say under Florida law, no officer, employer, agent of the state can be held personally liable or named as a defendant in any matter relating to injury or damage suffered as a result of an act, event, or omission of an action while performing his or her job, unless they acted in bad faith. They say they didn't act in bad faith. There was probable cause for the arrest and seizure of the cell phone. So we're going to stay with this, follow this, see how this comes out, as the sheriff and 3 of his officers are facing a federal lawsuit now saying they violated people's civil rights. We're going to keep on top of this and see how this plays out. I think it's much to do about nothing, but everybody gets their day in court, and we'll see how this comes out for the sheriff and 3 of his officers. Coming up next, the restaurant and food show, and in hour 3, Southern Pigskin Tonight on this radio airwaves. You're listening to the Voice of Ocala on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. We're live and local on The Source.
Hi, this is Lisa Midget, owner of the Properties Salon in downtown Ocala. Here in Florida, we're all about summertime fun, but along with the warm weather comes humidity, which leads to the dreaded frizzies. Are you tired of checking the weather report every morning before deciding to flat iron your hair? Sick of looking like the Lion King every day by noon? Has God just not seen fit to answer your prayers for patience and silky, frizz-free hair? Well, your troubles are over. Come to the Properties Salon for one of our hair smoothing systems. Specializing in Peter Coppola and Cezanne keratin smoothing treatments, the Properties Salon can tame your unruly locks with these formaldehyde-free formulas. And with the discount code BuddyRocks, you will save 20%. Not fighting the frizzies? Mention the same code BuddyRocks to save 20% off one of our many services such as cuts, color, extensions, and manis and petties. Gentlemen, this special is not just for the ladies. We do great cuts and color for men too. Check us out at theproperties.com for more information.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin. If you have an award or a trophy in your house, there's more than a good chance it came from BJ Trophies Gifts and Awards. At BJ Trophies, Floyd Hirschberger and his staff have a lot more than just trophies. Among the items they specialize in are donor recognition walls and trees, personalized or engraved gifts, cast bronze dedication plaques, wide format digital printing with posters, banners, and signs, and promotional products. Floyd is the official trophy and awards maker for the Voice of Ocala radio show and is North Central Florida's leader in custom recognition programs, corporate awards, industrial engraving, unique gifts, and advertising specialties. When Angie Lewis went shopping for something to award to the winners of her State Farm Good Neighbor Award, she shopped first at BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Check them out at 1735 Northeast Jacksonville Road on North Magnolia's Miracle Mile, or call them today at 352-732-2249. BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Trophies is just our middle name.
Men, do you know your testosterone level? Are you experiencing decreased energy levels or unusual sleeping problems? Have you noticed you have less strength or endurance, decreased sex drive, increased irritability or depression? If so, you may be experiencing problems with low testosterone. If you're interested in a free testosterone screening, please call Rinstar Medical Research at 352-629-5800. Again, that number is 352-629-5800.
Alice?
Yes, George?
I'm royalty at Devon Self-Storage now on Highway 200 across from Hobby Lobby. It says so right here in this letter.
George, I read that letter too, and it's Devon's loyalty rewards. Pay 3 months in advance, get 5% off. Pay 6 months in advance, get 7% off. Pay 12 months in advance and get 10% off.
See, Alice, Devon Self-Storage treats me like royalty. Just call them at 873-0777.
Yes, George, yes.
Hi, Danny Werfel here. Get moving with Florida Credit Union's fast and easy loan approval process.
Let Florida Credit Union start up a new car loan for you today. No more waiting, hassles, or stop signs. You can even apply online. With a strong financial team behind you, you can enjoy great rates and fast approvals.
It's all about personalized service and a streamlined process.
Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offered does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Fredericks Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Fredericks Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Fredericks Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
We are The Source, WOCA. Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Jane Metzler. An ISIS plot to bomb subways in Paris in the U.S. Iraq's prime minister in New York for the UN General Assembly says he was told an attack is imminent.
Caitlin Hayden, a spokeswoman at the White House, handles national security issues, telling us we have not confirmed such a plot and would have to review any information from our Iraqi partners before making further determinations.
Fox's Ed Henry, FBI Director James Comey confirming 12 Americans are fighting directly with ISIS, that the executioner who beheaded two American journalists has been identified, and
in a new ISIS video, there are two North American accented individuals, and he said those two, suggesting quite openly that they were American citizens, are the highest priority for the FBI right now in terms of identification.
Fox's Catherine Herridge and Attorney General Eric Holder to announce today he's resigning. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Your garage is filled with awesome things, like your collection of unused sporting goods and an odd assortment of scrap lumber. Dump it all. You'll need the room, because Napa has Mobil 1 synthetic oil for $5.99 a quart. Yep, for $5.99 a quart, you can fill your garage with Mobil 1. Now that's a good use of space. Conquer the job with Napa know-how. General states pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 9/30/14.
What's the secret to great business trips? Choice Hotels, where you'll find everything a business traveler needs, like a generous rewards program. And right now, when you take 2 separate trips at Comfort Inn or any Choice Hotel, you can earn 1 night free. Stay for business at Choice Hotels and book now at choicehotels.com. Great endings begin here. Free night based on an 8,000-point Choice Privileges reward night at over 1,500 hotels. Valid 9/4/14 through 11/12/14. Requires registration and 2 separate qualifying stays. Other terms and conditions apply. Details at choicehotels.com.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind, because he's doing the best he can.
I'm just sick of all the amateur stuff, you know? I mean, like, if I'm paying top dollar, I want a little production value, you know? Like some editing, transition, some music.
Don't worry, we didn't leave you.
He's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Our bosses say we gotta stay.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei.
It's time for the second hour of The Voice of Ocala.
Hoo-ah!
You ever come across anything like time travel?
Come on, stick around. It's free.
If you win, you win. If you lose, you still win.
Hello, welcome to a Tuesday. That means it's time for the Restaurant and Food Show, one of our favorite days of the week. With me co-hosting the show today, Randy Quintus was here earlier, but he left the boss in charge. Dave Del Rio, who is the chef at Eden's Beach Sandbar and Grill, joins us to help co-host the show. Welcome back. Good to have you, David.
Thank you.
Great conversations this week. We'll talk about those little items coming up.
Excited.
And we got the double treat today. We've got both Elodie and Patrice Perron from La Cuisine. Bonjour.
Hello.
It's nice to see both of you, all of you. Our missing member of the cast is Cindy Nicholson from Mark's, who will be here next Tuesday. And we have our squads down now today where we have our chart and we have people rotating in and out like a football team. You know, Patrice, you know football, right? I mean, you like football, right?
Yeah, I like football, yeah.
Dave Del Rio, of course, is here to literally mix it up. I love this show because everything's on the table. That's no pun intended, by the way. It's a restaurant and food show because whatever our co-hosts want to make it, we make it. And we have little exchanges during the week of ideas and thoughts. Food. Today I asked them to bring their menus in. We'll kind of go over the menus and see exactly what you like, what you recommend, some of the special dishes that you have only for an occasion. If it's going to change during the fall season, we'll talk about menus. We'll also talk about what makes these chefs tick. Now look, I've never been a chef. I can boil water. I've been known to cook an egg once in a while. I see these TV shows. I wonder if these people are what they're really like. I mean, let's be honest. There's some nut jobs in there, but they're fun people. And part of what makes a chef who they are is that little genius part of it that drives people. And as David said earlier this week, is that why would anybody want to do this? Right, Dave?
Yeah, that's true. I said that.
And so we're going to ask all three of them today about why anybody wants to do this. And then on top of that, cooking the food and have to serve it and all the things that go on with service. So that's going to be fun. I don't know whether or not we'll get to this story today, but I kind of liked it. And then we'll let you guys serve up what you want to talk about today. How could food change the world? This came out of a place called DallasEater.com. We'll get into that a little bit later about food as sort of it's more than a staple. It's political, right? I mean, it's everything. It's what we build our family lives around, our friends, our holidays. It's a powerful tool. It's also addictive. Let's face it. We all love good food, right?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about good food. First of all, nice to have everybody back again. And what do you think about the discussion today regarding menus? Anybody want to start off? Who wants to go first? Talk about your menu, because a lot of times people come to a restaurant and say, I don't know what to order here. What do I order? Let's pretend today that we're walking into your restaurant and we're saying, I don't know what you've got here. Order for me from your menu. Okay? We up for that?
Yeah.
Who's going to go first?
They do that a lot, actually.
Dave?
Do they?
Go ahead, Dave. Dave?
I get that question a lot, and I always come back with a couple of questions like, well, what are you in the mood for? Are you in the mood for steak? Are you in the mood for seafood? Have you ever been here before? What have you tried? I try to get a little background information before I start to make suggestions, and I look at what they're, I kind of gauge by their attitude and what they're looking like, before I start making suggestions. Now if you were coming into the restaurant, okay, let's say, Buddy's coming into the restaurant, he tells me to order for him. He looks like kind of a spicy guy, so I'm gonna start him off with a cup of our gumbo. Because that's something that you can get it in different places, but you don't get it like ours. I mean, this gumbo is off the chart, and it's just really good. It's made the right way. So I'm gonna start them off with that. And then depending, I may put them into like a crawfish pie as an appetizer. Again, something that you don't. I think when you go out to eat, unless you're just having fuel, I think you go for an experience. And the experience is to try things that you haven't tried before or that's different. So, I'll put them into a crawfish pie. It's kind of a warm, savory dip that comes with crackers. We make them, to order. And it's one of those recipes of mine that actually took off. If you go to New Orleans and you order a crawfish pie, you're going to get something that's kind of like an empanada. I took that and we actually now have goat cheese in it and cream cheese, and it's crawfish, smoked catfish. It's baked into an individual kind of a pie shell. So I took that idea of a traditional New Orleans dish and really turned it into something different. And then we top it. Now this is for another show, where the inspiration came from for a mock shoe topping, which is kind of basically a creamed corn. And I left it, I left the cream corn kind of plain. I don't want to say plain, but it's good for you. It's got heavy cream, it's got butter, it's got bacon. So all the things that are really good for you. They give
You're
you.
Making yourself hungry talking.
I am. I am.
Last week you had to go back and get a little bite when you got.
I did. I couldn't pass the food court. I had to grab something.
You're making me hungry too, by the way.
But those are things that are different. That make you want to go out and make you want to come back. And then as an appetite, as an entree, if you're in the mood for a burger, we've got some great burgers. But I think for Buddy, I would just for right now, I'm feeling this Cajun sweet fried chicken. We batter every order. Every order is done to order. We have a special batter that we bread these chicken breasts in. It's chicken breast, there's no bone in it, and it's deep fried, and then it comes out with this real crispy kind of a coating that has what I call strings or fingers to it, because it's not smooth, and then we top it with this sweet kind of a seasoning that's got a little bit of sweet and a little bit of heat to it that just sends it off the chart, and it stays crispy forever. So I think that's what I would do for Buddy this if he came in tonight.
You got
dinner.
me pretty good. You got me pretty good.
Well, you got us too. Maybe we can close the restaurant tonight and go to
let's all go to Eaton's Beach Sandbar Grill tonight and have us some gumbo and have a little crawfish pie and Philly gumbo. I'm sorry.
With a beautiful view.
With a beautiful view. But you know what's funny about that is I want to go eat some French food, because when I go out to eat, I go to places that I don't really cook the food,
right?
Where I don't know, I want that experience.
When you don't cook, you like it better.
It's not that I don't cook. It's not food that I cook myself.
I see.
Yes.
That's what I want to do. That's
to cook.
And Patrice is over here shaking his head, and Elodie too, about they get that, they understand that.
Mm-hmm.
So that sounds pretty scrumptious, and we'll hold that menu up in a second for those people who might be watching online. But that's what would you estimate number of items on your menu? What would you say there are? 40, 45, 50?
Maybe about 45. Yeah. Right
There's a
there.
lot. That's a big menu.
It is a big menu.
Now Elodie and Patrice have a smaller menu, and they have obviously they like obviously they're minimalists in terms of what they're doing, which is beautiful too, by the way. So and I've eaten it. I've actually had your gumbo. It's really good. I haven't had the fried chicken. I've had the hamburgers and all this stuff at Eaton's Beach, which by the way, folks, I just got to tell you, if you haven't been. Now you got to go, because there's seating available now, and you only got about another month or so that we can say that. If you've been wanting to go, and I say this not because they're sitting here, you're going to have a great experience at Eaton's Beach, because it's a beautiful place and the food is really different and outstanding. Floriciana, you got to check it out. So Randy Quinches is outside nodding yes. I think that means he agrees with me. Let's go to the menu, La Cuisine. Thanks, I enjoyed the meal, Dave, very much. Come back for dessert, okay?
Okay.
And now I'm going to go to La Cuisine, and we're going to order off the menu for La Cuisine. When I'm going to do this, I'm going to take a break and come back and have a little more time, because if I don't, I'll have to go up again. So we'll come back. We've eaten it down at Eaton's Beach Sandbar Grill. We're now going back downtown behind the Marion Theater, beautiful historic Ocala. Brand new parking lot going up there, and we're going to go into a French bistro. like we say on the commercials, it's like dialing Paris when you call down to get a reservation, including the real accents, by the way. One thing I want to use with your restaurant, the word I love about it is authentic. This is authentic French food. I've never been to Paris, but I just know enough about food to know this is authentic, obviously. So we're going to talk about that authentic menu, and Patrice and Elodie will order. We'll order for Tom on the French. Don't worry what he says he likes, and then we'll order for Tom. Okay. All coming up next on the Restaurant Food Show right here on the Voice of Ocala. Stay tuned to
1370 AM, 96.3 FM. We're live and local on The Source.
Here in Florida, when you're looking to go to the beach, you've got hundreds of options. Theme parks, no shortage of options there either. But when it comes to home insurance, most companies have only one option. Allstate is different. Here in Florida, Allstate agents offer home insurance options from several companies, so they can help you get the coverage that's right for you. And they'll help you save on quality car insurance, too. For starters, safe drivers save 45% with Allstate. So before you settle for just one option, talk to someone with many home and car insurance options. Your local Allstate agent. Are you in good hands?
Hi, this is Kevin McDonald, your local Allstate agent. To get your quote, please call us at 622-2333 or stop by one of our 2 Ocala locations.
Allstate has no financial responsibility to you for any home insurance policy you purchase and would not be responsible for any claims. Allstate does not make any representations or accept liability related to operations of home insurance companies, including but not limited to their financial conditions. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Savings vary.
This is Randy Briggs of the Briggs Law Firm. My son Bo and I practice exclusively in the representation of accident victims. And we've been asked many times why we would support and sponsor the program Ask the Cops with Sheriff Blair and Chief Graham, who are in the world of criminal law enforcement. Well, these legal rights actually overlap. In civil law enforcement, we're in the business of recovering for victims of accidents that which has been taken away from them and holding the responsible party accountable. Both civil law and criminal law share those common goals. So we're all in the field of law enforcement, and for that reason, we're proud to sponsor Ask the Cops on the Voice of Ocala with Buddy Martin. So if your family or a friend needs help in an accident situation, feel free to contact us at our website, www.thebriggs Law Firm. We're located in the Ocala Historic District.
Right on the southwestern corner of the square sits one of the finest dining establishments in Florida, Mark's Prime Steakhouse and Seafood Restaurant. Mark's offers big city dining amenities in a charming and small town setting. It's a rare treat to experience both the ambiance and the exquisite cuisine in a friendly atmosphere. Ocala's finest restaurant serves the finest beef, the freshest seafood, premium wines, and naturally fresh vegetables. From valet parking to splendid service, Mark's offers the complete package. Check it out today. Mark's Prime Seafood and Steakhouse Restaurant.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Frederick's Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Frederick's Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Frederick's Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Frederick's Appliance.
Let's face it, nowadays it can be hard to find American-made products, and that's something that Cabinet Sales of North Florida is well aware of. That's why they're an authorized dealer of Wellborn Cabinetry, family-owned and American-made since 1961. Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your answer for complete turnkey kitchen remodels and whole house cabinetry. Their cabinets are finished with solvent-based enamels for a long-lasting finish that's second to none. Available in an incredible selection of door styles and colors to choose from to turn your dream kitchen into a reality. In-house design and drawing services are available. Come by and see our displays for yourself at the Floors of the Villages, 3935 County Road 216 in Oxford, or Exquisite Design Kitchen and Bath in Bellevue, right across the street from the Bellevue Library. So whether you're looking for bookcases, kitchen, bath, or outdoor kitchen, Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your one-stop source of quality cabinets. For a free estimate, call 352-427-2647. That's 352-427-2647. Cabinet Sales of North Florida.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
If you make it past year 7, odds are very high you'll probably stay together forever. Couples are usually into a groove and know what their lives together will be like as they move forward. A sugar-packed diet will destroy the collagen and elastin in your skin. That leads to wrinkles. Taking a vacation from our social networking sites is just as important as taking a vacation from our jobs.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Back on the Restaurant Food Show today with our team members, Dave Del Rio from Eaton's Beach Sandbar and Grill, Elodie and Patrice Perron from, is it Perron? How do you say exactly? Is it Perron?
We say Perron.
Perron. Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't know if I can, I'll give it a shot. Elodie and Patrice Perron.
Très bien,
okay.
Oui.
Oh. And from La Cuisine Restaurant. Mm-hmm. And our missing team member today is Cindy Nicholson from Mark. She'll be back next Tuesday. And when we left the show a few moments ago, we were talking about ordering off the menu at your restaurant. Dave did a good job of making us hungry by recommending some things he would order for me. Now you have the unenviable task of ordering for Tom Schmitz, who's never eaten French food, okay? So, Elodie and Patrice, this big guy down here is in your restaurant. Would you please take your menu and order for Tom Schmitz? Good luck.
All right. So I would say, well, it's good because we're talking about a new menu for us as well that we will be launching in a few weeks. For appetizer, I would say poached egg in meurette, les œufs meurette in French. It's you take a crostini, a garlic crostini with red wine sauce, lardon, which is hand-cut bacon.
Hand-cut bacon. Mm-hmm.
And a poached egg on top of it.
And poached eggs on top of it with a pearl onion.
Yeah, pearl onions.
Glazed pearl onion.
That is a very, very nice appetizer to start.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's got garlic bread, bacon, and eggs. I'm good.
Yes. and red wine.
And red wine.
And a deep burgundy,
That was actually that was actually an appetizer we used to have a few years ago when we took it off, and people. You were talking, Buddy, about taking outside of the menu, yes. And people were asking for it. So actually, we are going to put it back on the next menu.
Interesting. That sounds good.
Yeah,
it is really good.
That's the appetizer. That's one we have to...
That's a very traditional, authentic appetizer from Lyon, Patrice's region, hometown.
And that's where you're from, right? Lyon.
Yeah.
And now what is it called again?
Les œufs meurettes.
I won't even try.
Eggs. No.
Sounds good. Eggs. Okay.
Eggs.
What do you think, Dave?
Yeah.
That sounds really good. You know, the bacon. Come on, that's the great equalizer.
Yeah, exactly.
Right there. You know, you had me at bacon.
There you go. All right. So that's a big guy. He gets hungry. So now what's next for Tom at La Cuisine?
Next, that's the point. You said something, Dave, very important. When you go somewhere else to eat, you want to eat something totally different. Because you're cooking, you know, and it's an idea maybe for you to have more after references in your mind and different tests and to associate to feed your creativity.
So have references?
Yeah.
You have references?
To have more references.
Okay.
Yeah. This is what we did because we don't eat a lot of chicken, you know, and in France. I mean, really? Just like a nice and roasted chicken. But we took our tradition and American tradition, and we're gonna propose a half organics roasted chicken because we really want to provide to our guests a very high quality of meat,
organic.
Organic, and you know what? This is not really easy to find, especially around here. So I'm looking for it right now. We find some couple of provider about it, and we made already some tests, and the flavor is absolutely very nice because we cook it, we roasted it, but we put under the skin, you know, a mix of fresh herbs with rosemary, garlic, kosher salt, and also we had a little bit a truffle. This is truffle, spring truffle right now. They are not so expensive right now. This is
I wonder,
kind
truffle
of
sounds very expensive.
affordable.
Yeah.
So you have a really high quality of chicken, nice seasoning, high quality seasoning, and this is served with a goat cheese sauce, and the goat cheese sauce is absolutely delightful.
What is it with goat cheese? Everybody now is doing goat cheese. Amazing. What is the deal with goat cheese? I mean, is it just healthier?
You have this little acidity, and also it's good to be associated with fresh herbs and olive oil. It's kind of like maybe more healthy. You're right.
Yeah,
I think
sounds delicious, by the way.
Yeah.
So, Dave, you have the same thing with goat cheese. So it'd be different. Not the same dish, but okay.
No. I love goat cheese. I use it. I use it where I can in that. And I actually did a dish a while back. I don't mean to cut you off here, but I did a dish a while back, a Spanish dish that's very classic. It was made with cream cheese and guava shells, and all I did was switch out the goat cheese and then deep fried it, all wrapped together. But the acidity from the goat cheese, it was familiar, but it gave you something different. And that's that's what this is about.
Yes. Okay. This is something what we can talk also about it, because this is something happens in your mouth, and in your mouth, on your tongue, you have different parts, and one part is more sweet, the other part is acidity, the other part is the bitterness and stuff like that. So, and when you eat something and this part is very sensible to the acidity, that's going to emphasize another taste. So it's really interesting.
So it's like the palate, and the mixture of the two flavors. Taste buds.
You have the softness, the softness of the chicken, very moisture, because we cook it on our special way. I'm not gonna give it our secret.
Go ahead. Nobody else.
I was waiting for the secret. I was watching.
Come on now.
Okay, turn on the microphone. Turn off the microphone.
Talking to us over.
And yes, and the side dishes, of course, we like vegetables, all kind of vegetables, but it's hard to find also here a Brussels sprout, and just a blanched and sautéed Brussels sprout in nice butter, and you with a sprinkles of a nice and dry aged Parmesan on the top. That's absolutely beautiful.
You got Tom's attention on that. Nice shaking his head.
The roasted chicken and the sauce sounds good, but my favorite vegetable of all vegetables is Brussels sprouts with garlic and butter. That's my mom cooked this one, and I love Brussels sprouts.
There's one little problem with chicken. We have a little problem
with the chicken.
Tom doesn't like bones.
I can't have bones.
But we can take it off.
Okay.
But you can do the chicken breast.
But we can do the chicken breast.
Okay.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. So we got through that meal. Now, what else? What do you serve with that? Is there? Yeah.
How much wine do I get to drink?
No, not the wine. Vegetables, legumes, whatever you call them. What
you can vegetables. Yeah, we say légumes in French.
Légumes.
And, don't
See, I
forget,
speak French. You didn't know that, did you, Tom? See,
légumes.
You didn't either.
and don't forget to order the gratin potatoes.
Oh,
well,
all gratin potatoes.
with the cream and yeah.
Yeah, this is scallops potatoes cooked in a half cream and half milk with a garlic puree and seasoning a little bit with salt, pepper, and little bit nutmeg, touch of nutmeg.
Okay.
And this is really nice.
All right, now we got about a minute and a half before we go to break, and we're going to come back to dessert. But I want to get back. What kind of wine or drink am I going to have? Dave, what was yours being served with?
Mine was going to be served with, we've got a really nice selection of wines.
Pick one for me.
I think what I do is like a white Zin.
White Zin, okay.
Just something kind of simple
works.
and,
It goes well with it. What would I have at La Cuisine?
For it's already a red wine sauce, so I'm gonna propose to you more like something from Côte d'Iron, because this is where I grew up. Côte d'Iron, and I know very well this area. This is what we call a Viognier. This is a Chardonnay, but the particularity of these grapes, it's grew up on a very steep area, and there is around this vineyard a lot of fruit trees. So when all the dust of the fruit goes on the grapes and you make this wine, this is a very fruity wine. This is
delicious.
This is not sweet wine, but this
fruity.
is dry but fruity wine.
I want to catch it before we go to break. Okay, we got our drinks. We come back. We're going to have our coffee and dessert. Okay, and then we're going to get into the subject of what is with these crazy chefs. What are you people thinking when you start? Because 20 hours a day working. There's people complaining because everything's not perfect. You got to be a special kind of person to be a chef, or you got to be absolutely nuts. I'm not sure which. Maybe a little of both. Okay, they're all, by the way, nodding their heads yes. They're all saying yes. So I'm not making disparaging comments. I'm just telling the truth, folks. Come back and found out why on the Restaurant and Food Show with Dave Del Rio, Elodie, and Patrice Perron right here on Voice of Ocala.
WOCA, the source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Jane Metzler. An ISIS plot to bomb subways in Paris in the U.S. Iraq's prime minister in New York for the UN General Assembly says he was told an attack is imminent.
Caitlin Hayden, a spokeswoman at the White House, handles national security issues, telling us we have not confirmed such a plot and would have to review any information from our Iraqi partners before making further determinations.
Fox's Ed Henry, FBI Director James Comey confirming 12 Americans are fighting directly with ISIS, that the executioner who beheaded two American journalists has been identified, and
in a new ISIS video, there are two North American accented individuals, and he said those two, suggesting quite openly that they were American citizens, are the highest priority for the FBI right now in terms of identification.
Fox's Catherine Herridge and Attorney General Eric Holder to announce today he's resigning. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Your garage is filled with awesome things, like your collection of unused sporting goods and an odd assortment of scrap lumber. Dump it all. You'll need the room, because Napa has Mobile One synthetic oil for $5.99 a quart. Yep, for $5.99 a quart, you can fill your garage with Mobile One. Now that's a good use of space. Conquer the job with Napa know-how. General states pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 9/30/14.
What's the secret to great business trips? Choice Hotels, where you'll find everything a business traveler needs, like a generous rewards program. And right now, when you take 2 separate trips at Comfort Inn or any Choice Hotel, you can earn 1 night free. Stay for business at Choice Hotels and book now at choicehotels.com. Great endings begin here. Free night based on an 8,000-point Choice Privileges reward night at over 1,500 hotels. Valid 9/4/14 through 11/12/14. Requires registration and 2 separate qualifying stays. Other terms and conditions apply. Details at choicehotels.com.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Joe Martone here for WOCA The Source, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. Slight technical difficulty, but not too bad. We're chugging right along here. It's a beautiful day outside at the Paddock Mall, and temperature is rising as usual. We're going to try to get back on the air momentarily and see if this works for us. Here goes nothing, as they say.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Fredericks Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Fredericks Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Fredericks Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
Your home is safe, or is it? AA Lock, Dock, and Security. The name has been a staple in Ocala since 1985. Do you have the right equipment in place to have peace of mind when you are at home or away? AA Lock, Dock, and Security has the right people to install and monitor your home or business. Call today for a free on-site security analysis. Call 867-1965. AA Lock, Dock, and Security, 219 Northwest 10th Street, 867-1965.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
You're listening to WOCA, Ocala.
I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Fredericks Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Fredericks Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Fredericks Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
Your home is safe, or is it? AA Lock, Dock, and Security. The name has been a staple in Ocala since 1985. Do you have the right equipment in place to have peace of mind when you are at home or away? AA Lock, Dock, and Security has the right people to install and monitor your home or business. Call today for a free on-site security analysis. Call 867-1965. AA Lock, Dock, and Security, 219 Northwest 10th Street, 867-1965.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch. Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
On the next AM Ocala Live, Robin and I will be speaking to Jim George, owner of American Cable Services. He'll be telling us what's new in the world of TV and cable.
News Bites, the hottest news and current events served bite size.
And then it's Horse Sense with the Equine Alliance of Marion County talking to us about those beautiful horses in our community.
Join Kelly Fuqua-Hart, executive editor of Ocala Magazine, on her show, Ocala Magazine Radio.
And then David P. Muth is coming on. He's the director of the Mississippi River Delta Restoration Campaign. He's speaking about a book called Perspectives on the Restoration of the Mississippi Delta.
Dr. Robert Oken is a practicing psychiatrist. He's a member of the Board of Advisors of Disabilities Rights International. He's written a book called Silent Voices, People with Mental Disorders on the Street.
All of that plus fun with Joe on the next AM Ocala Live, right here on The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM.
1370 AM.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
New rules are released for 2015. I'm Kyle Rickey. That story next on NASCAR Today, midday.
My first Dega was 2000, and I was chomping at the bit. There was lots of raging, hollering, and dang good food. And when Big E came from 16 back to take it all, I remember thinking, this is like somebody threw Mardi Gras, a camping trip, and an epic concert in a 750 horsepower blender. Get your first taste at the Geico 500 on October 19th, when the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup returns. For tickets, call 877-GO-TO-DEGA or visit TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. This is more than a race. This is Talladega.
Dillon looks to the inside. Nothing there. He gets turned by Senna.
They've served our country. They've kept us free. And they need your help.
We're sitting in Veterans Park. You can't sit here not realizing that you're surrounded by heroes. There are a lot of heroes in our community. A lot of heroes, unfortunately, are not in good financial shape. They're hurting both physically and financially. We step in and help directly. Our role is to reach out to them. We're there to help the veteran. We do counseling. We do outreach. Sometimes it's just coming into the office and sitting down and saying, hey, I've got a problem, and you're talking to another veteran who understands that problem.
Everybody who works for the Vets Helping Vets are awesome, and they are so kind to everybody. They're like my second family. They really are.
They have been there during the holidays. I have gotten unexpected visits, assistance.
Vets Helping Vets of Marion County needs your help. Call today, 352-433-2320, and pledge your support to Vets Helping Vets of Marion County.
It really has been a blessing.
On this episode of What Not to Do, brought to you by
Mike Scott Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it.
Okay, easy. All right, set her down. Over there. Easy.
What are you doing?
Oh, honey, you're home early. Nothing.
Really? Because it looks to me like you've torn up the entire yard with this giant tractor.
Not all of it. There is a small section over there I didn't
That's
get.
not even funny. Why are you tearing up my yard?
Well, the sprinkler head broke.
So you thought it was a good idea to fix it with a huge tractor?
Well, not at first, but then when I tried to fix it, I hit the main line. Thought it would be a good idea
thought
if...
all of this was a good idea? Here's an idea. Why don't you just call Mike Scott Plumbing? It's that easy. In fact, let me help you out with that. 237-2888.
But it's the weekend.
I know. They don't charge extra for nights, weekends, or holidays. Remember the commercials? If water runs through it.
Who would you feed if you had 50 chicken sandwiches from Chick-fil-A? WOCA and Chick-fil-A in the Paddock Mall have teamed up to reward one organization with 50 chicken sandwiches as a way of saying thanks for the great work that organization is doing in our community. And we need your help. See, there are so many great people doing great things that we need nominations. You can nominate your own organization or any organization you choose. Simply send an email to WOCA@WOCA.com and in 350 words or less, tell us why the organization you are nominating should receive 50 free chicken sandwiches from WOCA and Chick-fil-A at the Paddock Mall. We'll review your nominations and then select one deserving organization each month. We'll announce the winner and even read the winning entry on the air. Make sure to include the contact name and phone number of the organization that you are nominating. And thanks from your friends at WOCA and Chick-fil-A in the Paddock Mall.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
The truth is, most people who have had a fling at work say it started with somebody adding kisses, X's and O's, to a message. Just like showers for mothers-to-be, man showers include food, gifts, games, with a macho slant. Bullying is usually accompanied by poor performance at school. If the dip is only in one subject, the bully is probably in the same class with your child.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Special Olympics of Marion County is holding 2 fundraising events that will delight NFL fans.
Miami Dolphins running back Don Nottingham, also known as the Human Bowling Ball, has announced that over a dozen of his NFL buddies will be participating in 2 Special Olympics fundraisers in Marion County.
The first is on Friday, October 3rd from 6 till 10 p.m. at Jumbo Lair.
It's a dinner complete with an open bar and decadent desserts and an opportunity to chat and hang out with some of professional football's biggest stars.
Then on Saturday, October 4th, the NFL champions will play golf at a tournament in Silver Spring Shores with an after-game bash with fans at the 19th hole.
To learn more or to get tickets for either event, call Maria Roman at 352-462-0380.
This message brought to you by your friends here at The Source, WOCA.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
This is Southern Pigskin Tonight with host Buddy Martin on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network.
Welcome to week 5 of our brand new football show on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. I'm your host, Buddy Martin, back doing what we love most in sports, talking football with my friends around the South, sharing thoughts and opinions about the game we love so much down here. It is with heavy hearts we do so today, however, because after the shocking news of the tragedy involving a family member of our friend and fellow show member Terry Bradshaw, we're all deeply saddened. Terry will not be on this program today as a result. We'll be gathering in Nashville this week to pay tribute to the life of Rob Baronis, husband of Rachel Bradshaw Baronis, Terry's son-in-law and former Tennessee Titan kicker. Rob was tragically killed in a single-car fatality last weekend while on his way home. And we'll be hearing from a leading Nashville media member who knew Rob Baronis, Joe Biddle, for the 9 years he kicked for the Titans. Meanwhile, we're about to be 5 weeks into the season, and some obvious trends are starting to emerge in the all-powerful SEC. One of the unscathed big 3 from the West will eventually emerge as the Atlanta-bound favorite, but right now, as they say in political polling, it's too close to call. Most likely the winner of this weekend's South Carolina-Missouri game will take the inside track in the topsy-turvy SEC East. Florida State Heisman winner Jameis Winston got a wake-up call last week, but did he hear the phone ring? And how will that narrow win over Clemson eventually impact the Seminoles' hopes of repeating as national champions? In the SEC East, it's a matter of which team can survive. And in the West, can Alabama win the state title, and is Texas A&M for real? Coming up in just a moment, the guys from 3 and Out will help set the table. Then we'll bring it back in the final segment with Tom and myself for the big picks.
In between, we'll hear from Joe Biddle in Nashville about Rob Baronis being remembered. David Cloninger, beat writer for the state newspaper in Columbia, assesses this weekend's Tiger Gamecock matchup at Williams-Brice. And Mark Long of the Associated Press weighs in on what's wrong with the Florida Gators. I'll follow up with my extra point question. Is Will Muschamp on the clock during this open date weekend? Tom Schmitz shares his thoughts about Terry Bradshaw and how some of Terry's predictions about quarterbacks are coming true. Then we'll drill down on our selections here on the southernmost tip of the Southern Pigskin tonight. Right now, it's time for our Southern Pigskin colleagues from the popular show 3 and Out. Kevin Thomas, B.J. Bennett, and Matt Osborne, heard weekdays on 790 AM and 103.7 FM in Brunswick, Georgia, 1400 AM and 104.3 FM in Savannah Hilton Head, and 1350 in Blackshear, Waycross. Kevin Thomas, you guys able to figure out what's going to happen in the SEC? And what about your thoughts on the Florida State scenario?
Thanks, buddy. Glad to be here with you again on Southern Pigskin tonight. Kevin Thomas, alongside me, B.J. Bennett and Matt Osborne. And guys, we're nearing the halfway point of the college football season, and still a lot of things yet to be sorted out. But Florida State escapes last week. A big conference test for them this week with NC State, a team they have traditionally kind of struggled with. Is Florida State, with Jameis Winston back, going to find their stride, BJ, or is this a team that is going to experience a roller coaster up and down with some inconsistent potential offense?
This is Southern Pigskin Tonight with host Buddy Martin on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network.
Welcome to week 5 of our brand new football show on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. I'm your host, Buddy Martin, back doing what we love most in sports, talking football with my friends around the South, sharing thoughts and opinions about the game we love so much down here. It is with heavy hearts we do so today, however, because after the shocking news of the tragedy involving a family member of our friend and fellow show member Terry Bradshaw, we're all deeply saddened. Terry will not be on this program today as a result. We'll be gathering in Nashville this week to pay tribute to the life of Rob Baronis, husband of Rachel Bradshaw Baronis, Terry's son-in-law and former Tennessee Titan kicker. Rob was tragically killed in a single-car fatality last weekend while on his way home. And we'll be hearing from a leading Nashville media member who knew Rob Baronis, Joe Biddle, for the 9 years he kicked for the Titans. Meanwhile, we're about to be 5 weeks into the season, and some obvious trends are starting to emerge in the all-powerful SEC. One of the unscathed big three from the West will eventually emerge as the Atlanta-bound favorite, but right now, as they say in political polling, it's too close to call. Most likely the winner of this weekend's South Carolina-Missouri game will take the inside track in the topsy-turvy SEC East. Florida State Heisman winner Jameis Winston got a wake-up call last week, but did he hear the phone ring? And how will that narrow win over Clemson eventually impact the Seminoles' hopes of repeating as national champions? In the SEC East, it's a matter of which team can survive. And in the West, can Alabama win the state title? And is Texas A&M for real? Coming up in just a moment, the guys from 3 and Out will help set the table. Then we'll bring it back in the final segment with Tom and myself for the big picks. In between, we'll hear from Joe Biddle in Nashville about Rob Baronis being remembered. David Cloninger, beat writer for the state newspaper in Columbia, assesses this weekend's Tiger Gamecock matchup at Williams-Brice. And Mark Long of the Associated Press weighs in on what's wrong with the Florida Gators. I'll follow up with my extra point question. Is Will Muschamp on the clock during this open date weekend? Tom Schmitz shares his thoughts about Terry Bradshaw and how some of Terry's predictions about quarterbacks are coming true. Then we'll drill down on our selections here on the southernmost tip of the Southern Pigskin tonight. Right now, it's time for our Southern Pigskin colleagues from the popular show 3 and Out. Kevin Thomas, B.J. Bennett, and Matt Osborne, heard weekdays on 790 AM and 103.7 FM in Brunswick, Georgia, 1400 AM and 104.3 FM in Savannah, Hilton Head, and 1350 in Blackshear, Waycross. Kevin Thomas, you guys able to figure out what's going to happen in the SEC? And what about your thoughts on the Florida State scenario?
Thanks, buddy. Glad to be here with you again on Southern Pigskin tonight. Kevin Thomas, alongside me, B.J. Bennett and Matt Osborne. And guys, we're nearing the halfway point of the college football season, and still a lot of things yet to be sorted out. But Florida State escapes last week. A big conference test for them this week with NC State, a team they have traditionally kind of struggled with. Is Florida State, with Jameis Winston back, going to find their stride, BJ, or is this a team that is going to experience a roller coaster up and down with some inconsistent potential offensive play the rest of the way?
Well, it was an ugly win against Clemson, and going in, I think you knew it was going to have to be one of those low-scoring slugfests, and for Florida State, it was kind of an NCAA tournament-type outing, just survive and advance, and they did that, an emotional victory. You wonder what the play is going to be like this weekend after how draining last weekend was. And NC State, you're right, especially up in Raleigh, has given Florida State fits. I think we're going to learn a lot about the Noles this Saturday. You look at their games so far. Oklahoma State, good team. That game went into the fourth quarter. Clemson, good team, and you didn't have Winston. That game goes into overtime. The Citadel game kind of was what it was, but I think folks are still, in some respects, looking for that big-time performance out of FSU this season. NC State 4-0. They haven't exactly beaten a list of great teams, but they're still undefeated, beat Georgia Southern, which I think each week we're looking at that now as a more impressive victory. But I think folks want to see Florida State come out and look like the defending national champs, and I think they have a statement opportunity this weekend. We'll see if they can come up with it.
Well, I hesitate to say there's anything wrong with Florida State because, well, they're undefeated and they've beaten two pretty good teams in Oklahoma State and Clemson, but there does appear to be something a little bit off. Concerns even when you get Jameis Winston back defensively. You've been good. You haven't been the elite unit that we saw last year, and looking at the personnel returning, you thought you'd easily be a top 3 defense nationally. Haven't looked quite that good. Now, the offensive line has been the biggest disappointment thus far this year. We heard many experts say that Florida State was going to have the best offensive line in the country, and at the end of regulation against Clemson, you had negative rushing yards. You've struggled at times to protect your quarterback. So Florida State has to find a way to generate some production in the ground game and also to keep its quarterback upright. But this is still a very good football team. Obviously, Jameis Winston is going to make it a better football team. But, Kevin, I have to start wondering, is all the Jameis Winston off the field situation, is that starting to maybe get a little bit old there in Tallahassee and starting to affect the locker room?
Well, time will tell on that. I think you look forward to this week, and NC State is a game that every team has on their schedule where you circle one or two out there and you say, this is one where traditionally things don't go well and you could stub your toe. And I think if you're Florida State, this is one of those this week. Jameis coming off a week of not playing due to suspension. All that went into the Clemson win where you didn't play well, but you came out on top. Now you've got to go and play a tough NC State team that's better. Jacoby Brissett really throwing the football well, 1,000 yards passing already on the young football season. So I think Florida State should be on upset alert. They still look like one of the top 4 teams if I had to put them in the playoff, but they need to continue to improve if you're going to change some voters' minds. I think right now, if they were to have a slip, I might move them out of that top 4 just the way they've played at this point into the season. Guys, over in the SEC, it's pretty much all SEC games from here on out until you get to rivalry week at the end of the season. Alabama looked very, very good. Looks like the team to beat in the West. Who else, in your opinion, is the contender for that SEC West crown right now?
Well, as good as Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, other teams have looked, I think right now it's Auburn. Auburn entered the year, to me, is a slight favorite over Alabama. The Iron Bowl is going to be incredible, as it always is. And Auburn, I think, has some areas they can still improve. The win over Kansas State was not aesthetically pleasing, but you went out, you played a very, very good team, tricky Thursday night road test, and you won. And I think that's impressive. That's part of being a championship team is taking on good opponents out of conference, winning those games. And to do that on the road again on a Thursday night, to me, speaks volumes that Auburn can get a victory like that when they don't necessarily play their best. So I still like the combination of Gus Malzahn, Nick Marshall, Cameron Artis-Payne, Corey Grant, Sammy Coates, those guys, the playmakers on offense. I think the defense is coming along. So if you're saying after Alabama, who right now do you like in the West? For me, it's still Auburn. I just think there's something about that team under Malzahn. They're confident, they believe, they don't get rattled, and I think that's a trait that's very, very important in a division like the SEC West.
I agree it's Auburn, but to me, the next in line is actually Ole Miss. And the thing that's going to scare you about the Rebels and has scared you for the last couple of years is Bo Wallace, because he's a great player, but he has a propensity to have those games where he goes 3-4 picks on it and really loses the game. In some ways, you maybe feel good that he's already had one of those games in the season opener against Boise State, and Ole Miss still found a way to win that game pretty comfortably. So that takes away the opportunity of him doing it later on in the season. He's been playing exceptionally well the last 3 weeks. Defensively, Ole Miss currently leads the conference in total defense and scoring defense. You don't know they'll be able to keep that up, but it's a very athletic and talented group that is maybe top 3, top 4 in the conference when it's all said and done. So Ole Miss, a team playing with a lot of confidence right now, ranked inside the top 10. We'll find out more about it, but I think the Rebels are definitely a team that is capable of contending in the SEC West.
Just for the sake of throwing a different team out there, guys, I really do like Mississippi State, and how much can a win over LSU do for you as a program? You've got a quarterback that a lot of folks are really starting to pay attention to in Dak Prescott. Your defense, despite what happened late in the game against LSU, I think is a very solid defense. If you're going to do anything against Alabama, you got to be able to run the football, and you got to be able to play defense. Mississippi State can do some of that. I think that'll be an interesting matchup for them when it comes time to play the Crimson Tide. But keep an eye on Mississippi State as it moves forward. So, guys, we'll come back. We'll make our picks a little bit later in the program. And Buddy, all of us here along the Southern Pigskin Radio Network certainly send our condolences along to the Rod Baronis family. Certainly tragic news earlier this week, and extended to the Bradshaw family as well. Certainly, we know they're going through a tough time, and all of our thoughts and prayers are with those families as what's been a tough week for both of them. So we'll send it back to you here on Southern Pigskin tonight.
Thanks, Kevin. And don't forget, you can hear Kevin Thomas hosting 3 and Out weekdays on your ESPN app. Read B.J. Bennett's fine work on college football and Matt Osborne's perspective on recruiting on southernpigskin.com. Back here in our North Central Florida studios, Tom Schmitz, of all the things I remember from last weekend's games, I can't shake the image from my mind of what happened at Doak Campbell Stadium. The odd sight of Jameis Winston dressed out in full uniform for warm-ups, and then he's not wearing it all of a sudden. Instead, he donned a too small baseball cap tilted to one side and an empty jersey. It looked like it came off the rack at Walmart, desperately cheering on his team at every turn. Of all the people in Tallahassee, do you think anybody on the field other than Jimbo Fisher wanted to win that game worse than Jameis?
No, nobody wanted to win that game worse than Jameis Winston, buddy. And for the uniform situation, the equipment guy put it in his locker, Jameis put it on, and there are no more than 11 coaches that were in that locker room at some time before pregame workouts that should have said, Jameis, take the uniform off. It's the coach's fault he got to the field in full uniform, in my opinion.
Football player sees a football uniform in his locker, he puts it on.
Certainly.
The question now is whether or not Winston's ever going to learn from his mistakes, Tom, and if not, is he going to start wearing thin on the school administration as well as the fan base? And will this eventually impact in any way FSU's standing with the playoff committee?
Very good question.
It could be worse for FSU fans. They could be Gator fans last week when Florida played in Tuscaloosa. On second thought, maybe not.
Ouch.
On the SEC East and SEC West favorites, my thoughts about that. The South Carolina-Missouri game will have a huge bearing on the East, and I like the Gamecocks. If they get past Missouri, it's winnable for them. We'll all pick that game later along with the other big SEC showdown, Georgia-Tennessee, as well as Arkansas-Texas A&M. As for the West, you know, Tom, I've been with Alabama the whole season. I'm sticking with them. If they get much better than they were against Florida, it's a laydown. Yes, Auburn and Texas A&M, I said a laydown. Who you got, Tom?
Well, I've been trying to stay away from them all year, but after watching the way Cooper played at wide receiver, the way Sims played at quarterback, the way the defense stifled Jeff Driscoll, who I thought would have a better showing, but he only threw for 93 yards, the West is Alabama's to lose. And in the East, I have no idea, buddy, so I'll just take a team out of a hat and I'll say, let me see who I draw, Missouri, because that's as scientific as you can be.
Missouri, who lost to lowly Indiana of the Big Ten last week. That's college football for you. More with Tom Schmitz and the Southern Pigskin Gang later. Up next, paying tribute to Rob Baronis.
Back with more Southern Pigskin Tonight in a moment on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Now back to more Southern Pigskin Tonight with your host, Buddy Martin, on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network.
We were deeply saddened to learn over the weekend about the death of Rob Baronis, former kicker for the Tennessee Titans, who was recently married to Terry Bradshaw's daughter, Rachel. And we grieve with the family at this time. I spoke with Terry earlier this week before I departed for Nashville and the services. He said, "We'll get through this." The first moment I met Rob late last June, I liked him. This was after the rehearsal dinner in Las Colinas, Texas, the night before he married Rachel. He seemed affable, warm, and friendly, with a good sense of humor. We all joked about needing that sense of humor around Terry, who loves to poke fun. As self-deprecating as he was, you never thought him to be an athlete who broke the Tennessee Titans' all-time scoring record as kicker for 9 years. He made a franchise record 11 winning field goals, including a 60-yarder. That was the longest in the Titans or the Oilers' history. The first time I met Terry, Rob told me that night, he reminded me he didn't think kickers were football players. And then Rob smiled. For months, Terry and Rob went back and forth with good-natured ribbing. Bradshaw even took it to the national level when he warned his new son-in-law on the Jimmy Kimmel show, quote, "You better take care of Rachel," unquote. This may seem a little odd at a time like this, but humor can help tremendously in the deferring of grief. This is Terry on Jimmy Kimmel's show talking about Rob a few weeks ago.
Your daughter just got married also.
She did.
You didn't want to.
What's funny, man?
What?
For all of you out there, all you dads out there, that the son-in-law or the future son-in-law has to come and ask you for a hand. This is so funny.
He's a football player.
He's a kicker for the Titans, Rob Baronis. A great guy. And but we're in Hawaii, and I got word through my youngest daughter. She said, "Rob's going to ask you for Rachel's hand in marriage." And she said, "Dad," I told him, "I don't think it's a good idea." And so while he was in Hawaii, I said, "This ain't a good idea. I'm in Hawaii, number one. And number two, you haven't been dating my daughter long enough. And number three, you're a football player, and I know about those guys. And so this is going to be one of the hardest asks for hands in marriages you've ever been through." I ignored him. I didn't invite him to play golf. I was rude to him. And I absolutely messed his vacation up.
Why?
Yeah, because I just thought it was the right thing to do. So Baronis is calling his business. "Hey, man, this ain't going to happen. This guy, I wouldn't even invite him to play golf." I totally ignored him. And then the following year, now I like him. And Rachel's in love with him. And so he comes in on their bye week, and I'm sitting at the ranch and I'm drinking coffee. I drink coffee 4:30 in the morning. He comes in 4:30, let's say. Well, he's never up 4:09. And he's in there, and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm going to get a cup of coffee." I thought I'd come in and have a cup of coffee. He sits down. He says, "This is our bye week." And I'm thinking, "Yeah?" He goes, "Well, Rachel," and I said, "Let me tell you something. I said, be good to her, honor her, respect her, don't abuse her, don't hurt her, be loyal, no infidelity. God bless you. Okay, let's get back to watching this TV. And he said, boy, you made that easy.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to hear the story.
Yeah, oh, right.
I didn't want that story. You
Right,
know? I
yeah.
just, get it over with, son. I know you're going to want to marry me. Get it over with. But a good guy.
Yeah, well,
a really
that's
good guy.
That's good.
I like him a lot.
Rachel and Rob were married on the golf course at Las Colinas, and the smile on Rachel's face radiated like a noonday Texas sun. My wife, Joni, noted she looks incredibly happy as Terry walked Rachel down the grassy aisle for her wedding day. They were planning on redoing their house in Nashville as Rachel continued pursuing her singing career as a recording artist, and Rob went looking for a job in the National Football League. Just the day before his fatal accident, Rob had an impressive workout with the Lions, but a salary cap issue stood in the way. Rob is being remembered in Nashville as a solid citizen, a great guy, and someone who cared for children. Journalist Joe Biddle knew Barones very well for the 9 years he played in Nashville. Joe, I know you were a friend of Rob Barones, and you know him for 9 years, and a lot of things being said about this young man today after the tragic accident that took his life Saturday night. Everybody is, of course, grieving about that, including the Titans fans and, of course, the Bradshaw family and the Barones family. Tell us about Rob Barones.
Well, I think he was a pro's pro. He didn't get to the NFL with a lot of resume behind him. He had to work in the Arena Football League for several years. He kicked at Auburn, and then when Tommy Tuberville came in, he had his own kicker in mind, and Rob transferred to Georgia Southern, where his senior year, he only played there 1 year, they won the national championship of the 1AA. And so he, but like I say, he banged around and trying to get workouts and tryouts with NFL teams. Had to go to the Arena Football League and played with several teams which you've never heard of before. And finally signed on with the Titans. And 9 years, he was Mr. Reliable. I'll tell you one thing, he's got a lot of records behind him now. He hit an NFL record 8 field goals in one game, and that was against the Houston Texans, which is where the Tennessee Titans used to play, call home. He also had scored 1,032 points. His percentage is remarkable, 85.7% of his field goals. That's 4th best in NFL history. And he was just a remarkable guy and a remarkable leader on that team. The more he was there, the more he took on a leadership role.
I know it's a stunning thing for those who knew Rob. I had met him, and you knew him. It's a loss for a lot of people, and especially the community in Nashville, where he was quite active in the community and doing things with kids.
He was, buddy, and I don't ever remember him bragging about it, telling anybody about it. He did it behind the scenes. He didn't want credit for it. He would just show up and start helping young kids in whatever they needed done. He's a guy that just quietly behind the scenes became a strong citizen in this community, and I've never heard anybody, and this is unusual, especially with an NFL player, I've never heard anybody say one bad word about Rob Barones. They all liked him. The players liked him. He was a good guy to be around. He was infectious in his personality. You really liked him because he was Mr. Everyday. You know what I mean? He wasn't something special. I wrote a column on him, talked to a lady that shared a flight with him from Miami to Nashville, commercial flight, and she was sitting right next to him. She was a longtime season ticket holder, big Titans fan, but she said, I thought, I'm not even going to pretend I know who he is and see how it works out. And that whole flight from Nashville to Miami, pretty long flight, he never mentioned who he was, what he did, anything about football, nothing about the Titans, nothing that he was the greatest kicker they've had in my estimation. And that's that says a lot. You know, a lot of people want to blow their own horn.
All right, Joe, listen, thanks for spending some time with us. We're still getting reports on what happened that night in Nashville. Tom, have you read the recent story?
Yeah, buddy, I did. I read the story from the Tennessee, and it talks about an emotional 911 call a woman at the scene of the fatal accident involving Rob Baronis described. She said it was a troubling run-in with the Titans kicker moments before he crashed. The woman and her husband gave police investigators a detailed account of an alleged road rage incident that may shed some light on the events preceding Baronis' death. A 911 call received at 11:03 Saturday night. A woman describes the accident scene to the 911 operator. Then she hands her phone to another woman at the scene. The second woman tells the 911 operator that the white SUV tried to run us off the road. He's dangerous. He tried to start a fight with us. My husband ran down to see what is going on. I just want to tell the police there's something wrong with him. He's dangerous. There's something wrong with him. He gave me a mean look. We don't even know him, and he tried to run us off the road. So this is a 911 call that a woman alleges Rob Baronis was having a road rage incident with them. Once again, I don't want to speculate, but this is from the Tennessee, and that this is a 911 call received at the wreck site.
Well, of course, everybody I've talked to, including the family, and of course, people I've known who've known him, have said what an upstanding guy he was. This doesn't fit any profile we know about Rob Baronis. Let's hope it isn't true. All right. Terry, of course, is missing from the show today and wasn't in his familiar Fox NFL Sunday chair, but he expects to be back on both next week. This one NFL note on Terry's behalf. Tommy's been saying all along that Blake Bortles should be the starting quarterback in Jacksonville. Sunday, Bortles came off the bench, pitched 2 touchdown passes, and won the starting job. The other backup quarterback Terry liked was Kirk Cousins, who was brilliant last weekend, and the Redskins lost to Philadelphia. By the way, Philadelphia, as in Eagles, who Terry picked last weekend and has picked successfully for 3 weeks. Nice going, pal. Coming up next, the experts weigh in on this weekend's games.
More with Buddy Martin and Southern Pigskin tonight on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network next.
The Terry Bradshaw Football Show is brought to you by Eat and Speed Sandbar and Grill. Seating now available. Try their delicious Floresiana style of cooking. By Mark's Prime Steakhouse and Seafood, one of North Central Florida's finest eating establishments. By La Cuisine, in the charming setting of historic Ocala, imagine yourself in a Parisian bistro. By Prestige Auto Sales of Ocala and Bellevue, go see why they call Chris Spears the Yes Man. And by Gateway Bank, your new old-fashioned bank and great patron of the community activities.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price of fixed rate alone.
Fumble!
I was so busy making my fantasy football picks that I forgot to stock up on inventory, and now I need cars fast, so I'm calling for an inventory blitz. Chris Spears here from Prestige Auto Sales. This month, bring me in your old car, and you could score the nicer, newer ride you've been fantasizing about for just $10 down.
Sack your old car.
And start driving the nicer, newer car of your dreams for just $10 down. Don't get fouled by past credit problems.
Our For the People credit approval process is the game changer you've been waiting for.
We huddle up the banks and lenders to help you get approved and back in the game. So stop driving a car you hate.
Punt it and drive a nicer, newer car for just $10 down today.
I'm throwing in a Hail Mary to make my month, and I need your help. Trade in your old car, and you could drive for just $10 down. But don't wait till the clock runs out. This deal is over when my inventory is full. I'm Chris Spears, and I'm a dealer for the people.
Visit us at Prestige Auto Sales or call 694-1234. Yes,
Hi, this is Randy Briggs of the Briggs Law Firm. Traditional help for truly injured. We trademark registered this belief years ago as our description of our practice at the Briggs Law Firm. By traditional help, we mean that clients actually meet with a partner in the firm who will personally handle their case, not a paralegal. Well, what about truly injured? We limit our practice to injury claims having merit with clients who indeed have been injured. So if you or a loved one have been truly injured, compare our credentials at thebriggslawfirm.com or call us at 671-4600.
Now back to more Southern Pigskin Tonight with your host, Buddy Martin.
It's time for the experts to weigh in on some of the big games this weekend with an eye toward the carnage from last Saturday's big flop in Tuscaloosa. We said the Gators were hoping to prove they could still play big boy football, but not so fast with those big boy pants, Tom. I'll have my thoughts about Florida in my extra point segment. Will Muschamp is on the clock. Mark Long of the Associated Press also charts the Gators' future from here. First, let's hear from somebody who was in Nashville last weekend for the Gamecocks' ugly win over Vanderbilt and will be in Williams-Brice Saturday night. Spurrier had some odd things to say Saturday. He claims it was one of the ugliest wins ever and doesn't know exactly how his team got to be 3-1. David Cloninger of the State in Columbia. David, is he right?
Well, buddy, I don't think it's too hard to argue that. I mean, once again, South Carolina's defense just didn't really appear to know what it was doing. And, 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns to Vanderbilt, letting them hang around after they had struggled to beat UMass and had scored 10 points over their first 2 games. USC won the game, and there's something to be said for that. But Steve Spurrier wasn't just whistling Dixie when he said that was embarrassing. They just are not a very good football team right now. It was a pretty bad showing up in Nashville.
Yeah, I love some of the quotes. One being it's embarrassing, but we are who we are. We are not a very good football team, but we are somehow 3-1, and that kind of sized it up. You were there, of course, for the opening game, as was I, at Williams-Brice when Texas A&M put a whipping on the Gamecocks and stunned everybody. Mm-hmm. Now I wonder whether Steve Spurrier has reassessed and realized he has a chance to bail out of this mess and looks down the calendar and sees if he can get past Missouri this next week, things could look an awful lot better than they did Saturday night. So, do you buy or sell the idea that Steve Spurrier is absolutely trying to build a fire under his Gamecocks?
Well, I definitely think he is, buddy, because he's telling them, look, you guys are 3-1 on top of the East right now, but if you keep playing like this, it's not going to last. I mean, just look at the way the SEC East is beating up on itself already this year, and just look at what's happening around college football. Virginia Tech beats Ohio State and then loses 2 straight to Georgia Tech and East Carolina, things of that nature. So he's trying to go ahead and inspire them and say, listen, we knew we were going to be young, we knew we were going to struggle some, but this bad is a little bit surprising. But they're not going to give away or give back those 3 wins that they already have, so now it's just trying to find significant improvement before this week.
Yeah, it probably didn't help South Carolina that Missouri got stung by Indiana, one of the lower-tier teams of the Big Ten.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, because the way that they were looking was that Missouri would probably come in 4-0, but still kind of untested because they haven't played anybody. Well, then Indiana messes around and beats them at home. So you have Missouri being pretty angry about that, and also they're still remembering that game between USC and Missouri last year at their place where South Carolina pulled off one of the most incredible comebacks you'll ever see. So Missouri knows that they can pass on this defense. They know that they can put a lot of points on the board, and I think that they know that their defense is probably a little bit better than South Carolina's.
David Cloninger from the State talking about Saturday night's game. Steve made a comment after the game that he's probably the only team ever to have 2 kickoffs returns for touchdowns and still win a game. I don't know if that's true or not, or if anybody researched it, but Spurrier's pretty keen on kind of stuff. It kind of made sense. Did you have a chance to look that up?
I haven't seen anything official on it, buddy, but the fact remains is, you don't see stuff like that in Pop Warner ball. That's just inexcusable for a team at this level. And, honestly, if you take away just one of those kickoff returns and you take away that last defensive stand by USC that allowed a touchdown, it's actually a pretty good game, but you can't do that. So Steve was left to look at us like, man, how can you give up 2 kickoff returns and how can you play this bad against a Vanderbilt team that had really been struggling? They still kept hanging in it. That second kickoff return got them right back in the game, but in the end it became basically Vanderbilt was just too ill-equipped to handle that running game, and once Pharaoh Cooper got one good block on the edge, he was gone for 70 yards in the game-salting score.
Yeah, let's talk about the defense for a second. Sky Moore seems to show up a good bit there. Sherrod Golightly hasn't had the season so far that I thought he might. Let's talk about this defense and what JT Surratt brings, and who are some of the guys that you look to try to stop Matty Mock in the game against Missouri Saturday.
Well, buddy, they got to get some pressure on that quarterback. Wade Freebeck did take some hits, but he was also completing the throws under pressure. It was the same thing that Shane Carden in East Carolina did 2 weeks ago. USC is just not finding a consistent pass rush, which has really been the hallmark of their team, at least on defense, for the past 5 or 6 years. They've got to find a way to get to that quarterback, especially for a guy like Mock, who, if he's allowed to sit back there, he's going to pick you apart, and also he can run the ball. So Sherrod Golightly at that spur position, he's got to be more aggressive in coming up to that line. There were a few times he went up against Vanderbilt, saw those 3 tight ends stacked against him, and he just backed off. So the defense is very young. It continues to improve, but it's very, very incremental. They need to take a big jump this week against Missouri.
Yeah, offensively, certainly that's the whole left side of the line there. They can go to the left side. They got Kahn and Robinson over there, and they can make a little bread and butter with what they got for running back. Certainly Mike Davis as well. So I look for them to go to that some against Missouri as well. And Dylan Thompson emerging, I think maturing every week as a starter. It seems to be solid in a leadership role. And what's your assessment of his playing these days?
He's doing really well, buddy. You never had a question about the leadership portion of it because this team loves Dylan Thompson. They would follow him through the gates of hell. He's a fifth-year senior, and he's been around, and they love that kid. They'll play for him. His only problem is that he comes out for a game, and he's just so pumped up and so excited. He's throwing the ball a little high in the first.
Yes, he certainly does.
They had the pass routes against Vanderbilt, but they just couldn't hit him. I mean, Shaq Rowland dropped a wide-open touchdown, but the rest, Dylan was a little too far out in front and a little too high. But to his credit, he's calming down quickly, and he's really putting up some really strong numbers. I think he's got a real good shot to leave South Carolina as the all-time single-season passing yardage holder.
All right, final question for David Cloninger. The state that covers the South Carolina Gamecocks will be there at Williams-Brice Stadium when they tee it up against the now once-beaten Missouri Tigers. Look at the schedule. We know what's ahead, obviously Missouri. That puts them in a position now to have only one loss, that being Texas A&M, with Kentucky and Furman coming up. And that puts them in a good spot where they're inching their way back toward the top 10. The Auburn game, to me, is the critical game of the year, although it's not an Eastern Conference team. That and Florida, I think, for the SEC are the 2 key games left. This team, if it gets better, can win both. Probably not Auburn, but certainly can beat Florida. What's your assessment about the rest of the way for the South Carolina Gamecocks?
Buddy, you and I are on the same page. Basically, I've been saying since the summer, they're not going to win that Auburn game. And playing it down there, playing against Gus Malzahn, against this defense, I just don't think that's going to happen. So what they're going to have to do is put everything into winning all the rest of the games, including that game down at the Swamp, because who knows what Florida's going to show up. I mean, I thought that they were looking pretty good until the Alabama game. Who knows what's going to happen there? So they're going to have to, basically stub their toe at Auburn and then hope Georgia helps them out by losing to a Florida or to an Auburn or somebody like that, and that way USC can go to Florida, hopefully win that game, and be the SEC East champion.
All right, David, good stuff. David Cloninger of the State. Appreciate your time.
Not a problem, buddy. Thanks for having me.
Meanwhile, Will Muschamp is looking much like Humpty Dumpty, who's taking a great fall. Will he get up? We asked Mark Long of the Associated Press. Saturday was a measuring stick for some people as to how far the University of Florida football team has progressed or not progressed. Based on what we saw, I think it's pretty safe to say that Will Muschamp is on the clock. Mark Long of the Associated Press, do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, absolutely, buddy. I don't know how you can't be on the clock after that, and given what happened last season. I mean, it's just the preponderance of evidence, the overwhelming evidence is starting to mount that would say that Will Muschamp's not quality head coaching material. I hate to say it, he's a great guy, very nice guy. Everybody you talk to likes him. I like him. I'm sure you like him. Whether he's, a quality football coach, the guy who's going to get you to Atlanta every year, or at least have you in the running for Atlanta, it remains to be seen, and we're talking about 4 years in now. So we should know that by now, and the fact that we don't is a huge red flag.
What about Saturday, besides everything, disturbed you the most? Because I might be in the minority here. A, I kind of expected this. B, I also thought there was a moment, and it might have been fool's gold, where that game got back at 21-21, that at least I thought, well, the Gators didn't lay down. At least they got that. Now, am I wrong about that?
No, you're right. There's certainly something you can hang your hat on when you look at that, where they were into the third quarter. But the flip side of that, buddy, is the eye test told you everything you need to know without a couple of turnovers. And yeah, they created those, but without those turnovers, that's a totally different ball game. You're talking about a game that could have been 45, 56, 60 to nothing. Really, if Alabama plays turnover free, and I know you can't take out those turnovers are part of the game, but I'm just telling you from an offensive and defensive standpoint, Alabama was the way more dominant team. And it didn't look like that on paper, but the eye test to me said that Florida is light years away from even being close to Alabama.
All right, so let's talk about two people, and you tell me which one should share most of the blame, and don't say both. Will Muschamp Jeff Driscoll.
I would say Jeff Driscoll. I mean, here's a guy who's in his fourth year. He started over 17 games. He's a guy, a ton of experience, and he got totally outplayed by a freshman on the other flip side. And there's nobody else to blame. Listen, there were guys open. The offensive line protected. They had a smidgen of a running game. The problem was Jeff Driscoll and just way too many bad throws, way too many bad decisions, way too many late actions in the pocket. If I'm Will Muschamp, I'm looking to make a move. And I'll say this, if they don't make a move, then you can't blame Jeff Driscoll. Then it's on Will Muschamp.
Yeah, Trent Harris has to get at least a series or so. So we'll find out if that's going to happen when they tee it back up against Tennessee.
Talking with Mark Long of the AP. Mark, Tom Schmitz here. Real quick with the Gators. I got a different take on the defense. People say, well, if without those turnovers, it could have been different. No, I don't think it was so much the defense playing badly. They did force the turnovers. That's what defenses do to keep you in games. But I thought that Lane Kiffin out-schemed the Florida Gators coaching staff. When you put a running back out wide, the linebacker has to cover him. A running back as fleet as foot as Drake. Fleet as foot. That's a matchup problem, and that's a scheme problem. You're not putting your defense in a position to win there, and I thought Lane Kiffin was able to do that to Florida all night.
Yeah, no question, and that's a very good example, Tom, that you used. Another one would be Amari Cooper. Here he is, all-American receiver, came into the game with 30-something catches with a bunch of yards, and he's obviously the guy you've got to stop, the guy who makes them go. And, Florida's plan was to cover him with Hargraves, but then they come out and they go, oh, wait, he didn't line up in the slot the first 3 games. Now what do we do? And they weren't putting, all of a sudden now they're not covering him with Hargraves because their plan was to cover him on the outside with Hargraves. So, from that standpoint, yeah, they got Will Muschamp, and they never adjusted. Good teams adjust. If in the first series they line Amari Cooper up in the slot and you go, oh, wait, we haven't seen that before, then you know what? You make an adjustment on the sideline, and Florida should be good enough coaching-wise and personnel-wise, player-wise, to make that adjustment in-game, and they never made it.
I agree 100%.
So that was a real problem.
Always a pleasure, Mark. Appreciate your time.
All right, guys. Take care. Thank you.
Mark Long from the Associated Press. Up next, it's time to put our money where our big mouths are and make the picks for the guys from 3 and Out.
Coming up, more Southern Pigskin tonight on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network.
Hi, this is Lisa Midget, owner of the Proper Tees Salon in downtown Ocala. Here in Florida, we're all about summertime fun, but along with the warm weather comes humidity, which leads to the dreaded frizzies. Are you tired of checking the weather report every morning before deciding to flat iron your hair? Sick of looking like the Lion King every day by noon? Has God just not seen fit to answer your prayers for patience and silky, frizz-free hair? Well, your troubles are over. Come to the Proper Tees Salon for one of our hair smoothing systems. Specializing in Peter Coppola and Cezanne keratin smoothing treatments, the Proper Tees Salon can tame your unruly locks with these formaldehyde-free formulas. And with the discount code BuddyRocks, you will save 20%. Not fighting the frizzies? Mention the same code BuddyRocks to save 20% off one of our many services such as cuts, color, extensions, and manis and petties. Gentlemen, this special is not just for the ladies. We do great cuts and color for men too. Check us out at thepropertees.com for more information.
Being the Culligan man is not easy because he works hard every day for you here in North Central Florida. Whether you need bottled water delivery for your office, a home water softener, or water infiltration system, the Culligan man can help you. At Culligan, North Florida, we have dozens of softener and filtration options, along with a host of media tank sizes. Depending on the exact hardness and usage of your water, we determine the size of softener you're going to need. And if you're on city or well water in one of our local areas, the in-home water analysis is absolutely free. If your needs are for the home, call Ocala Water Conditioning, 352-291-5900. For home or business bottled water in Ocala, call Ocala Bottled Water, 352-291-5900. Culligan of North Florida, a proud sponsor of Florida State football, heard right here on WOCA, The Source.
The next drink is on Dave Del Rio at Eaton's Beach Sand Bar and Grill. Just ask him for it. But don't wait. Show up soon because this offer isn't going to last very long. Eaton's Beach Sand Bar and Grill will be filling up fast because their friends from the north are headed back that way soon. The good news is that seating is now available and Dave's buying the first drink. If you've been hearing about the crowd at Eaton's Beach Sand Bar and Grill and couldn't get in, now you can see firsthand what your friends have been talking about. Great food. Try Chef Dave's tantalizing Floresiana menu. Great location. Check out those gorgeous sunsets over Lake Weir. Great people. Starting with Chef Dave Del Rio, who began his career in 1978. This spicy guy has been instrumental in opening over 100 restaurants. And he's buying you a drink. Eaton's Beach Sand Bar and Grill, where there's little or no waiting these days. Come see what started out as Jay Eaton's dream almost 90 years ago. It's more awesome than ever.
Now back to more Southern Pigskin Tonight with your host, Buddy Martin, on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network.
Welcome back for our Big Pick segment. This is where we make fools of ourselves, Tom.
That's easy to do, buddy.
Yeah, we do that. I don't know if we kept the scorecard last week. I like to try to burn mine as often as possible. Almost nobody liked Florida's chances against Alabama in the point spread, and let alone to win the game. Certainly I didn't, and you didn't either. The herd is thinning out now. It's time to size up this weekend's games. Missouri, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas A&M, Arkansas. Let's go back up to Georgia and check the Ouija board from the guys from 3 and Out. Kevin Thomas, B.J. Bennett, and Matt Osborne. What do you say up there, you visionaries?
Buddy, appreciate you having us back here one more time as we get into our quick picks of the week. We'll start with B.J. Bennett, then Matt Osborne to come back and give you mine, and then we'll pick the big game of the week with South Carolina and Missouri. B.J., your quick pick of the week.
I like Georgia over Tennessee between the hedges, but I do think it'll be close. The last 3 games in this series have been decided by one score. You look back to last year, and the game could have easily gone into 2 overtimes. Georgia needed a late score from Aaron Murray to Rantavius Wooten. So I think this is a series, a rivalry game where both teams are up to play. Georgia wins. A little more athletic, better depth, but I think this game's close. Give me Georgia by 10 points when it's all said and done.
I'm looking at a big SEC West showdown as Arkansas travels to Texas A&M. Aggies still struggling a little bit on defense. Don't know how much they've improved. Arkansas can certainly run the football, and I think that's a dangerous matchup. I think the Razorbacks can go into Kyle Field and really give Texas A&M all at once. However, at the end of the day, I'm taking the Aggies close. I think they score a couple in the fourth quarter, pull away, and win by 2 scores. Kevin?
Don't go to sleep on that wacky ACC Coastal Division. You got Miami hosting Duke. Duke hadn't lost on the road in, almost 2 years under David Cutcliffe. Miami, a team coming off a tough loss to Nebraska. How much are they focused on the Blue Devils? Give me Duke by 3 down in South Florida. Guys, that brings us to our big pick of the week with South Carolina and Missouri. Missouri embarrassed by Indiana at home last week. South Carolina, well, Steve Spurrier was embarrassed in a win over Vanderbilt, who takes home the W this weekend.
I think there's a chance for a lot of points here with Matty Mock and Dylan Thompson going back and forth, 2 quarterbacks that like to push the ball downfield. I think by the time it's all said and done, South Carolina pulls away in this one, but I think it'll be a fun one. I'll take the Gamecocks by a touchdown.
Well, our buddy Rudy Rudiger likes Missouri as his underdog pick of the week. I'm not buying that one. I still think South Carolina is the more talented team here. Offensively, been able to get things rolling. Defensively, 114th in the nation right now in total defense. Have faced 3 really good offenses to this point, though. I think Lorenzo Ward gets that unit playing a little bit better. I like South Carolina.
Guys, you know me. I've been a big Missouri supporter, but last week was embarrassing, losing to Indiana at home. I think if South Carolina hadn't come off a less than stellar performance in Steve Spurrier's mind, and really that's the only mind that matters, I would think South Carolina might be in trouble. But give me the Gamecocks. I think too much for Missouri in this one. That's our quick picks and our big pick of the week. Back to you, buddy.
All right, thanks, Kevin. So, Tom Spitz, I guess it's time for us to pull out our blue plate specials and go for it. Want me to go first to make a fool of myself?
Please do.
All right. This is a dangerous game for South Carolina after Missouri got beat, stunned by one of the lowliest teams in the lowliest conference called the Big Ten, the Power 5. Indiana, no less. That Matty Mock wasn't able to put more points up on Indiana surprised me. I do think Missouri is vulnerable on defense to the Gamecocks running game. So I like South Carolina a lot in this game. I pick them 31-21. I don't see how Tennessee can possibly stop Todd Gurley and his friends, who will roll over the Tennessee Vols 42-21. This is a throw-in for you, Tom. I know you don't agree. I'm taking Texas A&M over Arkansas by 10.
Well, buddy, I don't necessarily know that I don't agree with that. I'll get to that game in a minute. Let's talk about South Carolina and Missouri. Steve Spurrier comes off an ugly, ugly win. After he beats a Georgia team, he says he has no way of knowing how he beat them. Missouri loses to Indiana, and we're not talking about basketball. This sets up for a slobber knocker of a football game between two SEC East powerhouses. I'm taking South Carolina 31, Missouri 30.
Wow.
You got Tennessee, Georgia. This is one of those rivalries, border state rivalries, that is really going to get ugly. Todd Gurley will run all over the Tennessee defense. His friends are going to be there to help him. Georgia wins this game 45-16. And finally, what you call a throw-in game, what I call one of the most important games to see how Texas A&M matches up in the West. Texas A&M at Arkansas. Arkansas ranked number 8 in the country in rushing. Really going to test Texas A&M's defense to see how well they can stop the run. But we know Texas A&M doesn't need a whole lot of time with that passing game. I got Texas A&M winning this game 46-18.
So I guess we're going to see Kenny Hill get up by 4 touchdowns, and the running game can never catch up.
Buddy, I got a throwing game for you. You want to spring throwing games on me? How about Florida State at North Carolina State? We hadn't talked about that game at all. And Florida State, while they're still ranked number 1 in the country, there's some deficiencies there, mainly the mental capacity of one Jameis Winston. Can he keep his head in the game? And, you know, with this Title IX investigation going on and with the off-the-field stuff, with the vulgarities that he uttered in the cafeteria, he's got a lot going on off the field that maybe enter into a problem brain-wise on the field. And they're going to North Carolina State, a place that they don't play well. They've lost the last 3 times. They've went to North Carolina State when they were a ranked team. So I look for this to be a much bigger game than anybody's giving it credit for. I actually am going to call for the upset here. I think North Carolina State shocks the world and beats Florida State by 3. So there's a throw-in game you weren't even expecting. How about that? Florida State falls from the ranks of the unbeaten to lowly North Carolina State that almost lost to Georgia Southern. What do you think of that?
Wow. Time now for my extra point. In battle, Florida coach Will Muschamp is out of mulligans for the remainder of the season. And to speak further in golf parlance, Tom, you understand this, he's 2 down with 2 holes to play.
Dormy.
Take out your calculator or abacus and see how many wins you can find in the remaining 8 games. All I can find is 4.
2, 6.
Yeah. How's it working?
Yeah, not good.
Yeah. Call me if it's more than 4, will you? That's loosely based on upsetting one of the big 4 teams, LSU, Georgia, South Carolina, or Florida State, to go with wins over Tennessee, Vanderbilt, and Eastern Kentucky. And I'm not 100% on beating Tennessee and Vanderbilt. So I've counted on my fingers as you did. This puts Muschamp on the clock because I see him destined for a barely bowl-eligible 6-5 at best.
Wow.
That means Muschamp might not even survive the season if he loses to Tennessee. This is not a performance like there was against Alabama. At the very least, the temperature on Will Muschamp's hot seat has risen another 20 degrees, and it will likely get hotter. On behalf of the guys from 3 and Out, Kevin Thomas and BJ Bennett and Matt Osborne, plus my broadcast partner Tom Schmitz, along with Joe Biddle, David Cloninger, and Mark Long, I'm Buddy Martin, headed to the press box for the kickoff and reminding us all it's great to be down here.
This has been a production of Southern Pigskin Tonight in association with Buddy Martin Media, produced from the studios of WOCA Ocala.
This has been Southern Pigskin Tonight with your host, Buddy Martin, on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network.
This is Allstate Agent Kevin McDonald, and our agency is a proud sponsor of the Marion County Friday Night High School Football Game of the Week. I grew up in Ocala, and I'm proud to support high school athletics throughout Marion County. For all your insurance and employee benefit needs, contact the McDonald Agency at 622-2333. Our agency has been a proud member of the Ocala-Marion County community since 1985, with offices in Ocala and the Villages.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, CEO of Gateway Bank, inviting you to drop by our main office on Silver Springs Boulevard every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for the Community Gazette, a 3-hour show focusing on our favorite community to live and work, Ocala-Marion County. Come join us with the voice of Ocala, Buddy Martin, in the new old-fashioned bank radio studio as we discuss a variety of interesting topics on the Community Gazette on WOCA The Source.
When you were a kid, you had all sorts of toys. Toy cars, boats, trucks, entire toy boxes full of fun. Of course, you never really outgrow your toys, do you? It's just that now, instead of a box full, you have a garage full. Cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, ATVs, and more. As you get older, your love of toys just gets stronger. So protect those toys the best way possible by switching to Allstate. An Allstate agent can help do the switching, paperwork, bundle all your policies together, and even find you a bunch of discounts. So if you love your toys, make sure you protect your toys by making one call to an Allstate agent.
Protect all your toys with Allstate and the McDonald Agency. Established in 1985, we have offices in Ocala and the Villages to better serve you. Give us a call at 622-2333. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
Are you in good hands?
Regions Bank has big bankability but possesses small bank agility. Utilizing tools like Raymond Andrews and his team of 6 mortgage experts with 100 years of experience in the mortgage industry and 50 years experience as members of the Regions Bank team. Mortgage lending is personal and important, and you deserve someone that will lead you through a positive process. Raymond and his team use local mortgaging processes like local appraisers and local closing to help you have a positive experience, and they habla Espanol as well. So whether you need a conventional, FHA, USDA, or VA loan, or you even need a construction loan, the mortgage team of your local Regions Bank has the knowledge and experience to guide you through the process. So contact Raymond Andrews and his team of mortgage experts at 352-854-4104. That's 352-854-4104. Regions Bank, it's time to expect more.
Right on the southwestern corner of the square sits one of the finest dining establishments in Florida, Mark's Prime Steakhouse and Seafood Restaurant. Mark's offers big city dining amenities in a charming and small town setting. It's a rare treat to experience both the ambiance and the exquisite cuisine in a friendly atmosphere. Ocala's finest restaurant serves the finest beef, the freshest seafood, premium wines, and naturally fresh vegetables. From valet parking to splendid service, Mark's offers the complete package. Check it out today. Mark's Prime Seafood and Steakhouse Restaurant.
You're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
Fox News Radio, I'm Jane Metzler.
All told, Eric has served at the Justice Department under 6 presidents of both parties.
President Obama announcing his Attorney General Eric Holder, who has served in his administration from the beginning, is stepping down as soon as a replacement is confirmed by the Senate. Holder saying,
"Work remains to be done, but our list of accomplishments is real. Over the last 6 years, our administration, your administration, has made historic gains in realizing the principles of the founding documents."
Critics say the Justice Department became too politicized under his watch. Iraq's prime minister here for the UN General Assembly tells reporters about an alleged ISIS plot to bomb subways in the U.S. and Paris. Administration officials not aware of any such plot. With Shiite rebels now in control of the capital, U.S. diplomats ordered out of Yemen. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Sending important work files as regular attachments is a big risk. You lose control the moment you hit send. That's why millions of professionals rely on Citrix ShareFile, the easy-to-use business solution for exchanging files quickly and securely. With ShareFile, send files of almost any size without bounce backs. Files are encrypted and remain under your control. Try Citrix ShareFile free for 30 days. Go to sharefile.com, click the microphone at the top of the homepage and enter information. That's sharefile.com, type in information.
Let's get down to business. You don't travel too often for work, but when you do, you want to stay where you know you'll be taken care of. That's where Choice Hotels comes in. We have everything you need to keep you on top of your game, like free hot breakfast for that much-needed morning boost, free internet to keep you in touch with home base, and a generous loyalty program so you can earn great rewards. Stay for business at Choice Hotels and book now at choicehotels.com. Great endings begin here. Amenities vary by location.
They've served our country. They've kept us free. And they need your help.
We're sitting in Veterans Park. You can't sit here not realizing that you're surrounded by heroes. There are a lot of heroes in our community. A lot of heroes, unfortunately, are not in good financial shape. They're hurting both physically and financially. We step in and help directly. Our role is to reach out to them. We're there to help the veteran. We do counseling. We do outreach. Sometimes it's just coming into the office and sitting down and saying, hey, I've got a problem, and you're talking to another veteran who understands that problem.
Everybody who works for the Vets Helping Vets are